Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Download the Wendy's app today.
Welcome in. How are we doing here on a Green and Gold Monday? A winning Green or Gold Monday on top of all of that. I know it probably doesn't sound like it, but they did win yesterday after all. 27-20. 27 has been their magic number all year long on wins when you think back about it. They've been throwing up 27s all season, so that was nice to see. Last night, the Green Bay Football Post-Game Show, powered by Lakeland University, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, myself, Tommy Wirtz. Tommy Wirtz was angry, fired up, mad. I was not nearly as mad as Tommy Wirtz was, as people that were texting and calling and all bent out of shape about what all went down. Last week, Andy Herman simply asked what would make me happy. Remember, we played that last week back because he asked me that on the Mason Crosby show when I was filling in for Mason Crosby. I said, a win. No. What'll make you? Man, a win. I want a win. Just get a damn win. They got the win. And not only did they get a win, but you learned a new player.
Love, drop back. Wide open, man. It's the tight end, Josh Wiley.
Of course.
His second game with the Packers, and he's got the touchdown to give them the lead.
That'll be a trivia question at some point later in life. I'm not sure how Josh Wiley will come up, but sometimes on Super Bowl type teams, Super Bowl runs, Charlie, you have unsung heroes. A Josh Wiley may be your replacement for Tucker Kraft. Who knows?
He was a better blocker than Luke Musgrave ever was on the field in that game.
You might
in his entire career, maybe at this point. I think that was just so I should know who Josh Wiley is. I think 2 weeks ago, Ryan Wood sends over his player sound each week, and he sent over a bunch of people like Jordan Love and Matthew Golden and then Josh Wiley, and I just completely looked over Josh Wiley. I think he only scored this touchdown to let me know who he is.
Well, that's good.
Universe telling me something.
He knows everybody. Well, not everybody. Some Packer fans now know who Josh Wiley is. I guarantee you there are a lot of people in the bar going, who is that? Where did they get that cat from? I don't even know who that dude is. What? So, and I guarantee you that's exactly what the Giants were saying too. I didn't really. That's okay, though. That's what you need on special type of runs, special type of seasons. You need dudes that you didn't know at the beginning of the year to step up and have that year. Now, the Brewers didn't finish. The Brewers didn't win a World Series, but there was a lot of those cats on the Milwaukee Brewers this year. I mean, if you look what that roster looked like at opening day, what that roster looked like at the end of the year, man, it was not the same, Charlie.
If you ask Pat Murphy, it's a summer league team, summer ball team.
Whatever.
That's basically what was on the field for him every week.
Whatever. Don't bring that up. But either way, so that's what made that run special, right? 14-game winning streak, 11-game winning streak. That's what kind of put it all together. Yeah, I said Super Bowl run. You want to know why I said Super Bowl run? The Lions don't make the playoffs today. If the playoffs were to start today. And if Lions fans are anything like you all, I'm sure they're calling for Dan Campbell to be fired in Detroit today. I'm sure they're calling for Jared Goff to be cut or traded today because he looked god-awful yesterday. The Bears are in first place. So what? Who cares?
I care, Sparky. Be nice to me for a little bit.
I had a Bears fan text me the standings. I was like, yep. That was my response. Well, I know you knew that, but, I was like, I get it, man. Y'all have been horrible for so long. You're excited you're in first place. You haven't had the ability to run your mouth at a Packer fan for years. You thought you had your chance and ran it before you saw what Jordan Love could do, and then had to quickly swallow that all up. So I get it. I get Bears fans being happy. That's fine. Long way to go, man. Chiefs are 5-5. Fire Andy Reid. Trade Patrick Mahomes. They suck. They're crap. Man, there ain't that team. There's not that team. There's just not. Philadelphia looked good last night. They did. But even looking good, that offense still wasn't all that great. Saquon Barkley still didn't do all of that in a bag of chips. They force-fed the ball to A.J. Brown the first half of that game. Still couldn't get that dude to any type of big plays.
Needed a fake pass interference call to get the ball downfield to him.
Horrible pass interference call. My point is yes, the Green Bay Packers are not dominant. Yes, the Green Bay Packers do not look like a Super Bowl team right now. With all due respect, nobody does right now in the NFC. There ain't one. Philadelphia's defense, legit. Agreed. Probably best defense in the NFC. I'll give you that. Offensively, I still have major questions. And they're going to lose Lane Johnson to the playoffs. He's toast until the playoffs. So that takes out their best offensive lineman. Again, you had 7 drops in that game last night from your wide receiver, or yesterday afternoon. 5 in the first half. Charlie, 5.5 is bad for a game.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually 5.5.
Yeah, it was awful. And then you can add on 3 more to the defense because they should have had 3 more interceptions, it felt, in this game that were just bounced off of their hands. It was just weird. It felt like they were getting in their own way a majority of this game.
Now, this is the other thing about this. And I want to bring this up to everybody because Christian Watson gets a bad rap from a lot of people, right? He does. And part of the reason why he gets the bad rap is because he gets hurt a lot. There's been all this, who's number 1 wide receiver? Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's that guy going to be to replace Sutcraft? Man,
Love and a high snap. Floats it. Watson up top. It is caught. Touchdown Packers. Green Bay's got the lead.
I'll tell you what, everything about that was top-notch. From the throw to the catch. Tough snap. Jordan Love is able to handle that. He's throwing to the field. He likes his matchup with Christian Watson, but especially throwing into that corner. I mean, that's basically dead in the teeth of the wind. He cuts it right through the wind. He loves it. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about too, Drew Brees, making his debut as an analyst.
He was good. I liked him.
Yeah, I thought he was fine. I had no issues with Drew Brees. And again, that's a high-end, high-level quarterback like Brady with the analysis of Jordan Love in that football game. So that highlight courtesy of Fox, as was the other one. But my point on all of this is all those drops that you had and everything else at the end of the day. Let me tell you a nice little stat that was pointed out to me on social media by Jacob Morley of Packer Report, who will join us coming up at 3 o'clock. Wes Hodkiewicz of Packers.com. He'll join us coming up at 4 o'clock today. But this is a pretty good one here. Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, and Dontavian Wicks are all tied with exactly 14 drops each over the last 3 seasons. And in the same time frame, Christian Watson has 4. Now, again, he's been hurt, so maybe it's a little unfair. But think about that for a second, dude. You got 3 dudes with 14 drops over the last 3 seasons?
It's hard to want to criticize Jordan Love when you have stats like that. And I think there's probably some plays Christian Watson has had that could be considered a drop that just aren't because he doesn't touch the ball. That Eagles game where it falls straight through his hands and hits the guy's helmet because he's not tracking the ball.
Jaden Reed's barely hasn't played this year.
Right.
And he's at 14. Mm-hmm.
That's last season. You know he was awful. We've talked about it. He finished the year
awful.
And
so is Wicks. Mm-hmm. Now, so you're going to get Reed back here at some point. But the thing on all of this is you can get as mad as you want, but some of these dudes just got to get better. That's why you took Matthew Golden, right? And that's why you took the other receiver there in the third round, Savion Williams, who had a nice play in this game as well. When Love threw that ball to Savion Williams, I thought it was getting picked because he threw it when he fell off his back foot and threw it. I said, oh, hell, God knows where this is going. And then you see Savion Williams come up with it. But that's part of the reason why they drafted him. Now, do I believe that this is going to be how this is going to play going forward? Absolutely not. I don't think you're going to see another game where they have 7 drops in a football game. Maybe I'll be wrong, and y'all can tell me, I told you so, Sparky. No. I mean, it was just a couple of weeks ago we were talking about why did they take Golden? They had enough, more than enough. They didn't need to take Matthew Golden. And I don't necessarily change my opinion because of one horrible game with all these guys dropping balls. But it's something that cannot continue to happen. The question is simple. Are the Packers their own worst enemy right now? Right? Is it simply, They are their own worst enemy. It's not that the other team is that much better or anything else. The Packers just can't stop shooting themselves in the foot. Is that the bigger issue more than, boy, the other team's just way more talented than they are, and so forth. Nicolay Law Talk text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the socials at WI Sports Radio. Follow us and stream us live on X and YouTube as well. That's where we are. You can see Charlie Usen wearing, what are you wearing today?
The hat, Smokey the Bear.
Smokey the Bear.
Yeah,
very good.
It's my favorite.
A Smokey the Bear hat today as well. But it really is just that simple, isn't it, Charlie? Just continuously shooting yourself in the foot.
That is. And I think what the bigger issue is right now is that it's not the same thing that's shooting them in the foot. Every week it feels like it's something different that has a bigger issue for the Packers.
Yes. Savion Williams, we talked about. This again coming from our guy Jacob Morley. He'll join us at 3. College career contested catch success. All right, contested catch success, meaning they caught the ball on a contested throw. Number 1 in college football. This was after the end of last college football season. So these are careers of guys that have played and are now either in the pros or are headed to the draft. Well, let me see if you pay attention to this real good here. Okay, contested catch success. In his college career, Savion Williams had a 51.2% contested catch rate. Marvin Harrison Jr., 52.5%. Justin Jefferson in college, 54.3%. Drake London, 56.8% on contested catches. Nico Collins, Texans, 63.4%. Travis Hunter, 65.5%.
It's a little misleading because of the quality of competition compared to like a Justin Jefferson.
Right. Travis Hunter, 29. Okay. Savion Williams, 73.5%, 25 catches of 34 in contested situations. Not even close.
How many total like throws were the other guys getting? Because that feels like a low number to
34 for Savion, 29 for Travis Hunter, 41 for Nico Collins, 44 for Drake London, 35 for Justin Jefferson, 41 for CeeDee Lamb, 61 for Marvin Harris.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you might as well just start trying it. You need somebody to be an aggressive catch guy right now, because Christian Watson, again, is kind of on and off with it at points. He's been reliable in the other spots of the field that he hasn't been in his career. But the down the field type of threat, he hasn't tracked the ball as well since he's come back from this injury. He had that bad drop on the sideline yesterday. Yeah. That was a beautiful throw. That was probably the best throw by Jordan Love all day.
I hated the throw.
You hated it? It was right in the pocket, man.
It was third and a few yards. Your defense has just been on the field forever and a day. Didn't give up any points. I mean, it was a 16-play drive, and you go 3 kick. You got to be again, if he hits it, it's like, oh, go Jordan Love.
Great throw, yeah.
But I was like, damn, man, like you had to get a couple first downs, then take your chunk shot, go for it. But on that one, give me a first down. Give my guy some rest here, man.
I get it.
It's just.
But also catch the ball, man. It lands right in the basket.
You're right. I'm just saying, when you made the decision of when you're going to take that shot, that wouldn't have been my ideal choice for when you were going to take that shot. All right. Are the Packers simply just shooting themselves in the foot? Are they their own worst enemy? Or do you think there's more to it? Nicolay Law Talk text line 414-677-1250. He is Greg in Waukesha. You're up first on the Nicolay Law Talk text line. What's up, Greg?
Starkey, I apologize for yesterday. You heard me yesterday. I was, in a funk. I was depressed.
You were mad.
Today,
you and I were going back and forth yesterday. Yeah, you were, Greg. It's all right. Yeah, it's okay to have emotion and passion. And don't ever apologize for that, Greg. Don't ever apologize. No.
Yeah, but anyway, I feel good about the Packers going forward if we can keep receivers healthy, if we can keep Jordan Love, healthy. My friends and I have a text thread with Jordan Love, about Jordan Love, where we say down he goes, because we know he can't run, as well as he used to. But he didn't get sacked yesterday, so that's a good thing. So you give me Jordan Love not getting sacked and some more of these receivers getting open. I'm feeling a little bit better about this team. You give me some Malik Heath, catches,
Malik Heath. Malik Heath. Let's talk about Malik Heath.
He's
Greg,
got to be
thanks
on
for
the
the call.
field first.
Malik Heath was left at home. Yo, he was left at home. Now, we don't know what's going on. Now, I have no idea. None. But Malik Heath was mad that Bo Melton was playing in front of him. He ought to be.
I would be too.
He ought to be. He ought to be
If
mad.
I was Bo Melton, I'd be mad for him too. That's crazy.
Crazy is right. And Bo Melton had to play in that game, but that does not take away the fact that Malik Heath got penalized and Bo Melton had been on the cornerback side of things. Like, what are we doing? Now, again, I don't know. Malik Heath, maybe he's dogging it in practice and not giving it his all. Maybe that's why he didn't get the opportunities. Maybe when he's on the field, he's not doing stuff right. I don't know. Not a great look, man.
I mean, I feel like it's hard to believe that he isn't working hard. That's been the main reason he's stuck on this team for the past 3 seasons. Out of all these other wide receivers get rotated in,
too.
He stays out there and he plays hard. He does the little things right. Yeah, when he's on the field, he's not always in on the routes, but when he does get a route, he runs it crisp. I mean, he's out there working hard. I'd be frustrated if I were him too. And for Matt LaFleur to be like, we're going to keep it in-house, all this other stuff. Like, we know it happened. Just tell us what happened. You don't have to elaborate on it. Just tell us what happened.
The thing is that it's the last receiver on the depth chart. So most people don't care. You and I are probably 2 of like a dozen people that care, all of whom are in the media. Most Packer fans are like, whatever, we don't need Malik.
I guess, but he's also closer to being wide receiver 2 on this team than any other team's last wide receiver. You know, like he's close enough to being in this rotation that he matters to the offense.
Yeah, you're right. Charlie using over there, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer over here, still to come. I'll get our botch moment of the day coming up here at 2:40. Still also Jacob Morley, 24/7 Sports. Packer Report joins us at 3. Wes Hodkiewicz, Packers senior writer at Packers.com, will join us coming up at 4 o'clock. Matt LaFleur is going to talk this afternoon as well, so we get some clips from that coming up at 4:20 after he talks. Continue tying up this Packers football team. Would you want to see the Packers have a special package for Malik Willis moving forward? Think Taysom Hill a little bit. That's kind of what we're talking about. Matt LaFleur had thoughts on that last night. Tommy Wirtz, because he got so mad about it, I said, Tommy, I'm doing a segment tomorrow on the show just for you. So
I hope he busts in here. When
did it at 2:20 to make sure we made sure to get it in. Would you want to see the Packers have special packages for Malik Willis? Nicolay Law Talk text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the socials at WI Sports Radio. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And in a world of tenders, Wendy's decided to make something more juicy, more crispy, and more dippable. New chicken tenders are here. Some may call them tendies, and yes, it's fun to say it, even more fun to eat. Wendy's new chicken tendies come with an insane new sauce lineup. New Wendy's signature, new sweet chili, or new scorching hot. Or choose one of the classics, honey barbecue, creamy ranch, or honey mustard. Whatever you choose, they're the perfect vessel to dip all of your tendies in. Wendy's new chicken tenders are so juicy, crispy, and dippable, you'll remember them forever. Gotta have tendies. It's gotta be Wendy's.
3rd and 8. He's going to keep it. He's got this element to his game, and there goes Malik Willis for a first down into the New York red zone. Impact play by Malik Willis, who's averaged better than 5.5 yards a carry for his young NFL career.
Woo-wee! And he's only 25, everybody. Malik Willis, highlight there, courtesy of Fox. Malik Willis was not done there. Oh, no, he was not. Show you can throw the ball a little bit, too.
3rd down again. Willis holds on. Willis rolls and throws, and it's snatched for the touchdown by Watson. First of the season for Watson, back from the knee injury and back in the end zone for the Pats.
I'm telling you right now that, Charlie, you know my dad loves him some Malik Willis. Mm-hmm. So you know what I was going through with my phone
I'm sure.
As he was blowing it up. Malik Willis comes in the game. My dad says, now we got a quarterback. Malik Willis scores a touchdown. That's how you're supposed to do it. See, it helps having a quarterback. Now our defense needs to step up. Jordan Love enters game. My dad goes, and there went our quarterback. Now, here we go. Do you realize, y'all? Now, again, y'all, if you don't want to buy into Pro Football Focus, you don't have to. I'm not going to sit here and shill for them or anything else. Doesn't matter to me one way or the other, right? You have Chris Collinsworth to do that. But according to them, Jordan Love had the best game of his career grade of 93.3. Better than the Packer-Cowboy game in Dallas in the playoffs. Better than that. Now, you would never know because of all the drops and everything else that went along with it. But on the day that he has that game, who is the talk of the town after the game?
Malik Willis.
Yeah, it ain't Jordan Love. It's this to Malik Willis. And it's question after question after question. And here's Matt LaFleur.
It's certainly up for discussion. I mean,
oh, hold on. Let me stop. He was asked whether or not they would consider putting in special packages for Malik Willis to run, kind of like Taysom Hill on the Saints when they had future Hall of Famer Drew Brees.
It's certainly up for discussion. I mean, it's just hard to want to take your quarterback off the field. So, I know there was some game plans last year where we had a 2 QB package, and who knows, maybe we'll see that come back.
So when this is said, Tommy Wirtz's head about combusted. Like, it was one Malik question. Tommy Wirtz like, why are we asking about Malik Willis for? Ask about all the drops in this game. Another question on Malik Willis. We get Ryan Wood on the show last night. He's going at Ryan Wood about asking Malik Willis questions. Oh, my goodness. He was losing his mind. So I said we're going to do this as a topic because I want to know where everybody sits on this. Would you want to see the Packers have special packages for Malik Willis moving forward? Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the socials at WI Sports Radio. Stream us live on X and on YouTube. Already got people on hold. Text messages we got to get to. Charlie, what are your thoughts?
No, I don't really feel the need to have a Malik Willis package in this. At the brewery yesterday, when he came in, scored the touchdown, it was the same exact thing. People at the bar going, oh, we need Malik Willis in the game now. We need Malik Willis in the game now. I was just wanted to tell everybody to calm down. Malik Willis is the definition of a very good system quarterback, and he is running Matt LaFleur's system to a T when he goes out there. The problem is going to be if he has to be a full-time starter, what happens when Matt LaFleur's system breaks down? Because we've seen that happen at least 3 different times this year in all 3 of those losses that the Packers have had. And then can he take over a game from there? And I fully believe Malik Willis cannot take over a game from there. I think Jordan Love can. I think the big issue with Jordan Love right now is that he's being constrained too much occasionally by Matt LaFleur. And there's games where they let him rip and he is awesome. And other games where they just take him back too much and he just doesn't want to do that. He fights against the leash a little bit. Malik Willis isn't going to fight against the leash. He's going to take that leash and try to get everything that he can, which works when you're playing the Giants. When you're playing bad teams like you saw last year when he went up against the Titans and some of these other poor squads, when he's playing a good team and the system isn't working and somebody needs to take over and he's in a game where Josh Jacobs isn't in there, where the top wide receivers are not having their best game, he is not going to function the same way that we saw yesterday.
This is the thing. We've seen Malik Willis start. We've seen this offense function differently than it did with Jordan Love, but they won games. He hasn't lost a game. In a game he's been in with the Green Bay Packers, he's not lost. You understand that?
Again, Titans, this game against the Giants, if you're going to count that.
Colts,
the game against the Saints,
Jaguars.
Colts and the Jaguars.
Yes.
That's all not great teams. Those teams last season, Colts and Jaguars, were not good teams.
Fair enough. I've seen enough backup quarterbacks in my life to know that Brett Hundley probably wouldn't have won any of those games. I mean, I've seen enough guys to know.
I still called Malik Willis a good system quarterback. Brett Hundley wasn't even that. Brett Hundley was Brett Hundley.
Fair enough. We were talking about it last night on the show as far as, hey, man, like he's a free agent after this year. If nobody's going to give him a starting quarterback job, which I don't think anybody will, you go to him and go 3 for 12, 3 for 15, something like that. Now, again, they're going to have some salary cap issues going into next year, so I don't know how they would have to finagle it in order to get it done. It's not a big contract to figure it out. I just think if I'm Malik Willis and if they're offering me a shot to do this and be that backup behind Jordan Love, I think I'd take it. Carry clipboard. When I'm done carrying the clipboard, I'm still not 30 and still might be able to cash in.
I think you do that. I think it also hinges on how people are feeling about Matt LaFleur at the end of the season still, too. I think the other thing is you're seeing what works for a backup quarterback under the Matt LaFleur system. So if the Packers feel comfortable with that type of archetype of player, then you don't really need a Malik Willis. You can just draft that guy.
On the Nicolay Law Talk a text line from the 414, boy, the look in Coach's eye. He's got something special for Malik. Yeah, he might. Let's go to the phones. John and Franklin, you're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's with me, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. What's up, John?
Hey, Spark. Nice. This is a fun conversation. I want to qualify because my answer is also upon qualification.
Okay.
I am on board 100% with Jordan Love. He is our quarterback. There is no question about that. I'll tell you what, I don't usually like the pressers post game, but I just love the way the young man conducts himself and, the way he answers questions, easy and hard ones. Really do. Really like the kid. And I would like to see a couple of plays in the playbook for Malik. He has done everything to earn that, but it's under, first of all, you have a conversation with Jordan and make darn sure, and I'll use that language, not what I'd like to use. You make darn sure it isn't going to create an issue with him and the team. If you're going to do this, we're not doing this because we don't think Jordan can get it done. We're doing this because it's another thing that we can randomly pull out that other teams have to think about.
Correct.
You got a talent. You've lost some talent this year. It's another arrow in your quiver. And I will say, and one last thing, and I'll get out of the way. Doesn't mean because Malik's in, it's going to be a running play. There's got to be an even amount of running.
Right.
And also you bring them in, and when the safeties come up because they think it's going to be some kind of wildcat crap, you throw it behind them. You make it unpredictable. You have some fun with it in the right scenario. You don't run it because you feel you have to. I think it could be very effective.
All right. John's in. John and Franklin, thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it. Got a message here on the Dugout YouTube chat. You can follow us, stream us live on X and on YouTube at WI Sports Radio. Also happens to be the name of the website, wisportsradio.com, if you want to stream our audio there too. Go ahead, Charlie.
Anton in the Dugout chat says, I think they should use Willis and put in a package for him. Adds a different dimension to the offense. Also, thoughts when Willis is in the offense flows. Love we have hiccups. MLF not coaching to Love's strengths? ?
Okay. So, listen, I don't like the idea of taking Jordan Love off the field. I didn't like the idea of taking Drew Brees off of the field. I thought that was really dumb. Sean Payton is way smarter than I am. He's proving it yet again in Denver right now that he is way smarter than I am. Were they able to have success? Yes. And I'm telling you right now, this dude here, much more talented than the dude in New Orleans, right? You agree with me on that?
Yeah, I think so.
Way more talented. A, he's faster. B, he's a much better just pure quarterback as far as throwing the football. Like when that dude came into the game, you were preparing for a run. Maybe he'll throw 5-10 yards, But to John's point, this dude will throw 15, 20 yards down the middle. He'll hit you on an out. But Malik Willis can play quarterback in this league. The problem is he came up through Tennessee, which that was a fiasco. Never got a fair shake at actually being the starting quarterback in Tennessee. They bailed on him because of Will Levis. Where's he now? They bailed on him because of Will Levis. And now he's over here going through, the deal of how to play quarterback in this league and how to play it effectively. They've coached him up great. He's turned out to be really good when he's had the opportunities. I don't think I would be mad if they did this. I don't think I would be. I'm going to say this two ways. A, I don't want them to. But if they did, I don't think I'd be on the air screaming and yelling, going, what the hell are you doing? I don't think I would be in that situation, mainly because, like John said, I don't think it would be an easy, well, they're clearly running because that guy can't throw the football.
I don't think so either. I'm with you. I wouldn't be mad about it. At the same time, I don't feel like it's necessary for this team to go out and do this. I would maybe feel a little different if Josh Jacobs' injury was more long-term, but right now they're saying week to week. Yeah, he may not play this upcoming game against Minnesota, but he's still going to be on the field hopefully after that. So if you had to completely change your run game because your star running back was out, maybe this makes sense. Right now, I just don't feel like it's necessary. You can still win games, and we've seen this offense have great games. Yesterday, we saw them just kill themselves. That's what happened on that field.
I got a text message coming in here on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line 414-677-1250. This is from Dominic. If you have two quarterbacks, you have zero. See the Saints. And Taysom Hill has way more skills than Willis does. Then he texted in again, said way more skills outside of quarterback compared to Taysom.
Agree.
I mean, sure he does. Yes.
He can catch the ball.
He can run down and kill himself on punt returns and kick returns.
He does everything.
He can do everything. I don't want Malik Willis to do everything. I want Malik Willis to play quarterback. And he's a hell of a lot more better at playing quarterback than Taysom Hill ever was. And Drew Brees is a better quarterback than Jordan Love is right now. So Drew Brees is a Hall of Fame quarterback. They put a cat in there that wasn't nearly as good as Malik Willis playing the quarterback position to change things up. And again, I go back to John Franklin's points. Why do you do this? To put stuff on tape. To make sure they have to prepare for something else, to take them away from putting more effort into trying to work on something else in your base package. Now I got to prepare for the specialty crap as well. Like, it's legitimate. Do you know what I was thinking about last night? Jalen Hurts was getting ready to do that tush push for the second time. Third down, they got stopped, and they eventually got stopped on fourth down. I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, like, what if he went to go do the dive in, and instead of pushing him in, the guys go behind him and pull him out so he never touches the ground and comes running out around the end. He's gone, right? Because everybody's converging in the middle. If they pull him out and keep him on his feet and he takes off around the corner, he's gone.
You can't pull people out. At least in the younger levels, you can only push. You can't pull. So I don't know if that's the same in the NFL. I'll double check. But in younger youth levels of football,
even if you couldn't pull, even if he just kind of fake going forward, step back and took off, because there's nobody on the outside. I mean, if you look at those plays, everybody crashes in, and they don't blow the whistle like as soon as he hits an offensive lineman. Yeah. He goes forward. If he comes back out, I don't know, man.
Not everybody's going to the ground, though, at the same time. Too. I think you still have the people like spying him as well. And then the moment he takes a step forward, how close he is to the offensive line and the defense line.
If he goes to step back, he gets stepped on.
Or he steps back and he has to get stepped on. Same thing. It's just going to be, it's harder than you think to just step back and run outside.
Be interesting to see. So there you go. So that is what we were talking about here. What would you want? Would you want to see the Packers have special packages for Malik Willis moving forward? That is the Nicolay Law Talk and text line 414-677-1250, or on socials at WI Sports Radio, whether it be on Facebook or on Twitter and so forth. Sports Talk Radio on Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, presented by Paramount Plus. Can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Coming up next, our botched moment of the day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
It's time for the botched moment of the day. Bad call, dropped pass, horrible coaching. Did someone say the wrong thing? Let's get to it on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, let's get to the botched moment of the day. This is some interesting stuff here. Now, I originally wanted to do drop passes or dropped interceptions. There's a ton of them. So Charlie's like, I got something else. I said, okay, fine. You got something else? Let's roll with what you got, Charlie. So Charlie's like, hey, man, did you hear about Keon Coleman? Keon Coleman's in my kid's fantasy lineup. So he got absolutely screwed on that deal.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't listed as questionable or out or anything. So he just had him in there. And all of a sudden, game time comes and there's no Keon Coleman. Why is there no Keon Coleman? Because he missed a team meeting at the end of the day, which is not something that you really want to deal with. And then also Abdul Carter also missed a meeting, and he missed the first series of the game. So multiple things happening there. Deion Dawkins of the Bills talking about Keon Coleman missing a meeting.
I already spoke to him. When I spoke to Keon before in this game, and I told him, I said, bro, look, don't even worry about it. Everybody goes through a different journey, right? Let's just say that this is the last time. Let's just move forward. And he said, I'm with you. That's all and we need, right? Like, nobody's perfect, but in this league, we need guys to come on. And Keon knows, right? Now he's in a hot seat, and he needs to come on and show up for us. Pats on the back are over with, and it's time for him to grow up, and he knows it. And as an older player on the team, we hold everybody accountable, and we shoot straight. We don't sugarcoat it, and the words were said to him, and he took it well. And we'll see how it goes in this week. But like I said in the beginning of the season, I'm in Keon's corner, man. Like, this league is hard. Being on time is hard. Being great is hard. Pushing for greatness is hard. So we got his back, but the time is now.
I don't know what the hell Keon Coleman's problem is. I don't know. He has not lived up to expectations by any sort. And there's a part of me that would love to see what happens if he comes to Green Bay, to see if LaFleur can use him better or differently to put him in a situation. I don't know the kid's work ethic. I don't know how he is as a router or nothing like that. I haven't done some in-depth study on Keon Coleman, but not good. You have Malik Heath getting left behind by the Packers. Abdul Carter missing. Like, hey, man. Malik Heath ain't making as much as Keon Coleman necessarily, right? Or definitely not as much as Abdul Carter is making the most of all of them. But, dude, just have some respect for your gig, man, and do your job the correct way. It's not that hard.
Well, and Keon Coleman,
just showing up to a meeting, man.
Right. Keon Coleman is kind of in the same position as Malik Heath almost too, and he's a little higher on the depth chart, but he can very easily be the number one wide receiver in Buffalo.
He should be.
They don't have that guy right now.
They drafted him to be.
Exactly.
Malik Heath wasn't expected to be anything.
So he has this potential to be there. And when Deion Dawkins says, oh, being on time is hard, wanting to be great is hard, that's a lie. That's just complete lie. Those are the two things that I know is actually the easiest: being on time and trying. Those are the two things you can do that everybody can do.
Not everybody wants to be great, though.
No, not everybody wants to be great, but you can try.
But
and
being on time, everybody should be able to figure that out.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves. I try to be early, usually at least on time places, and I hate when people are late.
Do that now. That's good. Because when you have kids,
it'll be impossible. Yeah, I know. That's just like everything else. Brandon Snide and Mitch are telling me all the horror stories.
It all changes once you have kids, buddy. While you're single, be on time for sure. When you're late, when you have kids, they go, you have kids. We understand. It's not a big deal. Joining us now on the Nicolay Law Talk and Test Line, a guy that texts a lot. I don't know if I've ever talked to him. Ron and Rome, you are next here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. What's up, Ron?
Yeah, I got something that's a little counterintuitive for you.
All right.
People are saying we should put in a Malik Willis package, maybe because Love's struggling a little bit. I think we're having a problem with Love not getting in a rhythm, and putting in a Willis package is going to make that even harder to get him in a rhythm. So if it was when he was like the second half of his first season where he was on a roll, and I think it's a good idea to have maybe a Willis package where the other forces the other team to study more and have to prepare for two quarterbacks. So I got a solution that kills two birds with one stone. We've been having problems with our kicking game, even the extra points, and that's not going to get better with the weather getting worse. So why don't you make Malik Willis a 2-point conversion specialist?
Yeah.
He only comes in for the 2-point conversion. He practices it all week. He's, and that's kind of a specialized play. And then see how he does with that. And then if he's doing well from that, and maybe you make him a 4th and short specialist, and then you just go from there.
Love it. I'm in. Sold me. I'm with you. That's a great idea. Thanks for the call. I'm in. So you're the 2-point guy, man. Jordan Love runs off the field after the touchdown. You come running in for 2-point plays. You have a whole special 2-point package just for Malik Willis. It's not the tush push, but it's something they're going to have to figure out going forward. And to be honest with you, I'm good, like he said too. Even if it's on 4th and short, whatever the case may be in those short situations, especially when you're near the goal line, 4th and short inside the 5, where you're too far away for Josh Jacobs to run and so forth, and you're playing in that type of tight of space. I might be okay with that too. I'm definitely good with 2-point specialist Malik Willis, if that's the way you want to go. Because Jordan Love's feelings aren't going to get hurt because he's not doing the 2-point conversion, I don't think. So, that's it. That's how you solve this. Because I don't want Malik Willis in the game on 2nd and 5, 3rd and 6. No, that's Jordan Love. Those are his downs. Put him in 2-point situations. I'm good with that. And you know what else that gets him? And I don't know how much they practice it during the week, but maybe that gets him some reps during the week. Because as has been said by a million different backup quarterbacks on social media in the last 24 hours, hey, man, backup quarterbacks get no reps during the course of the week to keep up with the Joneses, right? They're playing scout team, essentially. That's how they're playing. Now, they're playing against the number 1 defense, but you're not running your own offense. You're running the other team's offense. So I would imagine a Malik Willis being Jalen Hurts, pretty cool, probably, right? That works. You get some throws in, so forth. But again, you're not playing with your wants, nothing like that. Maybe if he ends up being this 2-point package guy, maybe there's a little bit dedicated time to that at some point during the week where he gets some reps.
Well, and if you're going to put in that package, if you're going to practice that throughout the week, that means probably that you're going to be kicking extra points less often. And that also means you're probably going to have to finally get rid of one of your 2 kickers and figure it out and tell one of these guys that they are the dude. You're going to have to be able to show us, or we're just going to run 2 points the whole time because we can't trust you guys.
Yes. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think it's a good idea. I like Ron's idea. I'm all about it. So I think that's something they can definitely press forward on. The other thing too that came out of yesterday that I found intriguing, if nothing else, when we talk about this team, the dropped interceptions. I'm going to get to Jacob Morley, the Packer Report, coming up at 3:00. I remember, for so many years, people have always said, listen, man, the reason they play corner is because they don't have good enough hands to play wide receiver. That's usually why they play corner. And it's kind of been a running joke forever.
The Madden, they have that voice track in every single game. Yeah, they have somebody, one of the announcers says that. Oh, that's why he's playing cornerback. He can't catch. Yeah.
Right, exactly right. So in this case yesterday, though, it literally was everything that could go wrong went wrong on the Packers. Everything. You have the kicker that everybody had to have. You're goofy now, don't you? And he was awful. Haversack going out there. It was also very interesting, I'll say, that McManus all week, no issues. Saturday, doubtful. I was like, really? Really? That's what you're going to call him doubtful?
Playing mind games.
Okay. Previous Sunday, he said to the announce team, remember, there was a healthy he's been all year, and now he's doubtful. Really? Okay. So we'll see how that goes this week against the Minnesota Vikings if McManus finds his way back onto the football field and whether or not they've seen enough of Haversack. Now, you very easily could go to Haversack and go, hey, man, it was crazy winds. LaFleur's like, I still don't know which way the wind was coming from. Okay, so all of that going on, maybe you get the free pass there on Haversack at the end of the day. But the corners and the safeties dropping balls left and right, and then it ends because you finally had somebody hold on to the football, and Evan Williams was the perfect way to end that game, Charlie.
Right. Jameis needed a Jameis throw, and that was a Jameis throw to end the game.
Jameis had a lot of Jameis throws. They just couldn't make any of them count.
No, they couldn't. It was frustrating. Again, you saw these cornerbacks be in position, and Mason Crosby on the Mason Crosby show earlier blamed the weather for why the cornerbacks were dropping those balls on wide receivers. I wanted to jump through this window over here, man. That was crazy.
No, man. Like Vince Lombardi always said, man, if it hits you in the hands, you're supposed to catch it. Romeo Dobbs had multiple balls hit him in the damn hands. Like, it's one thing if the ball, like, sails away from you and goes out of bounds, and maybe you could have caught it before it went out of bounds. These balls were hitting guys in the hands.
Dead in the hands.
No reason to be dropping those balls. So Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Coming up on the other side of this hour, we'll talk with Jacob Morley, 24/7 Sports and Packer Report. Comes up next. Don't go anywhere.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is time again. Welcome in. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you as we broadcast live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Other side of the glass, he is Charlie Usen, doing a phenomenal job as always. Coming up at 4 o'clock, we'll talk with Wes Hodkiewicz, Packers senior writer for Packers.com, who joins us 1 hour from right now. Before we do that, we got to get to a guy that's very hard for me to get on this show. Very hard. Because the man coaches 12 sports after school every day, and is never available to do anything in the afternoon. So yesterday when I reached out to this man, I completely expected a no, but I threw up the Hail Mary pass, and he caught it. It was so amazing. He is Jacob Morley of 24/7 Sports and Packer Report on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. Jacob Morley, thank you, sir.
No, thanks for having me. I'm glad we could make it work.
You are the person that loves him some wide receivers. You are the person come draft time everybody wants to talk to about everything involved in the draft because you're just really good at draft stuff. But wide receiver is definitely your home run category you love talking about the most. So you tell me, man, what is going on with this wide receiver group?
What did Matt say at the press conference the other day? If I had answers, I wouldn't be answering this question.
No, but you scouted these guys in college, so you had an idea of what they were going to look like coming out of college. You saw them in their first year a couple of years ago with Jordan Love. Then last year was a fiasco, and this year, up until this game, I didn't feel like it was nearly as bad as last year. But now this game leaves everybody asking questions.
Well, I'll say this then: the only guy coming out of the class that you would legitimately say, hey, I've got concerns about this guy's hands, or it's Wicks. His junior season at Virginia, there was a point in time, and I don't know if he finished this way, but there was a point in time where he led the NCAA in drops. Dang. So it's been on the tape for him. And then, like you say, they came out rookie year, and it looked like that was kind of behind him, and looked like he was catching the ball a lot cleaner. Last year, especially the first half of last year, he really struggled with drops, kind of cleaned it up in the second half of the year. And then it's been kind of, hit or miss with him. Romeo is weird. He didn't really have that on his tape coming out. And he's the guy if you get on the X machine or Twitter or whatever you call it, whenever he makes a catch, it's hashtag strong hands. And it's almost become ironic, almost like making fun of now, because it's so hit or miss with him. And the two that he had yesterday, that's as bad as it gets. That's drive killers. I mean, that's the last 2 weeks, really, that it hit a guy right in the hands or right in the chest, and it kills a drive. There's other plays, like the one for Wicks last week. That was a tough catch. Dobbs had one that would be a tough catch. Watson had one up the right sideline this last week. That would be a tough catch. But you ask any of those guys, I guarantee you they all say I should have caught that ball, and because they should have, but I don't know. I think if there was answers, if it was just as simple as hitting the jugs machine, then they would hit it. But I think some guys have better hands than other guys, and that's just the way it is. A big reason they went and drafted Matthew Golden out of Texas this last year is because he's got, I'm knocking on all the wood that is around me right now.
They drafted a wide receiver last year?
Yeah, first round. Did you
really?
Yeah, you would imagine that he gets a lot of targets, right? But no, he catches the ball well though. He does have legitimately very good hands. He's got that natural feel. I would say for the Packers that it's one of those things that when you're scouting a wide receiver, it's how much are you going to care about drops, because every receiver is going to go through phases where they're going to have some drops. Devontae did it. Jordy did it.
James Jones
did it. All those guys, they all went through that stuff. And so I just think for the Packers, it's not something they value a ton. So them drafting Matthew Golden, one, he fits just about dang near everything they like. And two, he did have really good hands. So it's almost like, okay, is that something now that enough. They're kind of saying, hey, enough is enough. We want to get a guy that's going to catch the ball cleanly, and we know is going to do it more consistently than the guys that we have. I will say I do need to stand up for my guy, Christian Watson, though, who has not a very fair depiction of how he catches the football. You look at, like I said, someone, I think it was
Wendell Ferrera.
And
was it Dyer Carragher? I think it was Dyer Carragher. I think you're right. Yeah.
Who's my guy? I just always forget how to say his name, which I hate because he's the best dude ever. But he had a tweet that was just like, in the last 2 years or 3 years or something, I think it was Wicks and Dobbs, I believe.
And Reed. All three of them.
They've all had like 14 drops.
Yep.
Which last year, I think Reed led the NFL in drops, followed closely by Wicks, which is gross. But you look at that and say, okay, there's 14 drops for these guys in the last 3 years, whatever it is. Christian Watson's had 4 in that same time span.
But he's also been hurt too.
So, right. So looking at that too, someone said like, well, what about percentage? His highest percentage that he ever had in a year was 6.5%. Last year was 6.3. This year, 0. And just for context, those other 3 guys have all had years in the teens. And so I just think very high drop rate. And I would say Christian is more just like your normal drop rate. Like he's a receiver that will drop some passes. I just wonder what his story is if he catches that ball against Minnesota. It is crazy how storylines work, but you know as well as anyone, your first impressions are everything. And if you go out there and he catches that thing, I don't think people really talk about it that much.
I don't know, man. Like me personally, I don't think of him in drops. I think of him in injuries. Like if you say Christian Watson, my response is hurt always. That's my response. My response isn't drops the ball. My response isn't, oh, he's not that good. None of that. I think from a talent perspective, he's really, really uber talented and can be a number 1 wide receiver, providing they get him enough targets, Jacob Morley, which up until Tucker Kraft, they really weren't honing in on anybody specifically other than Romeo Doubs.
No, and I think what you just said is his story. If you want to paint a picture accurately of what Christian Watson has looked like in the NFL, it has been when he's healthy, he's a really, really high level football player, but that's been hit or miss with him being healthy. Are the injuries behind him? We'll see. You never really know. I do know at the combine when he came out, he was a 208-pound football player. I do know he's up to 225 pounds and has not lost any of the speed. And so I don't know if that's something that he was able to tack on a little bit of insulation as a player, because you look at him right now, I think he looks noticeably bigger
for sure.
And so we'll see if that helps or not, because he's not, he's still just muscles on muscle, but it's not as lean as it was. And I'm no physical therapist. I don't know how any of that stuff works, but it does seem like those guys that are lean like that do tend to have more, fast guy injuries where they have issues with the muscles and stuff like that. So we'll see. He's 3 games in being back from his ACL. He looks great. It's just, can he go the distance and can he be the guy that they can run the offense through? I think, and I'm not Matt. I don't know what's going on in those rooms and those meetings, but if he is healthy and if they don't have concerns about him being healthy, I think they do feature him a little bit more. But I think that's in the back of your head is, okay, this guy's really, really good. Let's build the plan around him. But what happens if history repeats itself? And then what? Now we're down Kraft and now we're down Watson. And then what? Now what do? We just pray and hope that when Jaden Reed gets back, we can do it with him, who's been hurt all year. So, it's just kind of one of those things that I see both sides of it when, fans are like, hey, they need to get this guy 10 targets versus, hey, they need to spread the ball around. I do get both sides of it. But we are at the point in the year where I think it's like, man, you do kind of need to put your eggs in the basket of the guy who looks by far and away, at least yesterday for sure, like a dog, the guy that's going to go out there. And it was kind of an over my dead body type of game for 10-9 for Jordan Love and Christian Watson, where they just said, hey, we're not losing this game. Throw me the ball. Jordan said, okay. And they did. And they go out. And it was really exciting football when you see those guys on the same page connecting like they were. So I think that's what you look at as far as like, hey, did they find something? has this offense now kind of been able to find the solution for losing Tucker Kraft.
Jacob Morley, 24/7 Sports Packer Report as well on Twitter or X at Jacob Morley. What about Jordan Love yesterday too? A lot of Lions and Bears and Vikings fans, oh my, all yelling and screaming about Jordan Love's not that good. He sucks. Look at his numbers in the first half yesterday and so forth. Not paying attention to the game, not seeing 5 drops in the first half and all of that stuff. Then comes for Pro Football Focus grade, and it looks like it's the highest grade he's ever had as a starter in the NFL to this point. I believe it was 93.6 from Pro Football Focus. How good did he look to you?
Like his highest grade, I don't think that was the best game he's ever played, but it was pretty apparent, like after the game, just talking to the guys and just talking to people on X, I thought he played fantastic. Like I thought he was phenomenal yesterday. And you just look at just his control of the game and what he was able to do, not only just being down and the offense sputtering and having 6 drops or whatever the heck it was, just an unbelievable amount of guys not making plays for you. For him and being hurt too, getting dinged up in the first half and then being able to come back in and deal with the wind tunnel type conditions. Just nothing seemed to be going their way, but like Matt, Coach LaFleur always kind of says, like his superpower really is just being able to get to the next play and just to continue to play and not really let anything that's happened get too high, get too low. None of that. What is in the past is in the past. I'm focused on what is going on this play and what my team needs from me on this play. And he is really good at that. And he is, this off season, just talking to some people that are smarter than me, closer to the team than me, just say like, what's 10 look like? What's Jordan Love look like? And the quote that I just kept getting in some shape or form was complete control. He's going into year 3. He knows this offense is like a coach and he is in control out there. And I think we've seen glimpses of that. I think we've still seen some areas where he does still need to grow in that area, and he will. But when you watch him play, like I think that New York game is a great example of that, where he just, whatever the team needed, he had an answer for. And I mean, what else can you ask from a young player? And I think it's a litmus test too, right? Of did you watch the game or did you not? So, and if there's anyone telling you that Jordan Love did not play a good football game yesterday, they looked at the box score. That's all they looked at, because you turn that tape on from start to finish. He was great. He was hitting open receivers. He was running the offense. He was doing what needed to be done. I think as soon as Jacobs went down too, I think you could kind of feel a little bit of a shift in that offense as well, where it's, hey, Josh Jacobs is a fantastic football player, and we want to get him the ball, obviously. But when he's not there, Jordan's your best player. And I think Jordan might be their best player anyways. And I think we kind of maybe are starting to see that shift amongst the coaching as well, where it's like, okay, yeah, our best chance to win is on 10's arm, not on 8's legs. Now, we can still use 8's legs when he gets back, and that's going to be a very valuable part of this offense. But we need to run this thing on the arm of the quarterback. And that takes time. And, a lot of people are getting impatient with the coach, getting impatient with the play calls, all that stuff. And you know what? Some of it's valid. Like I'm frustrated as well at times, but it does take time. It does take time for these things to switch and for this guy to really ascend to that level, because they paid him like that, and that's great. And we've seen flashes of him playing like that, and that's great. But when he can go out there week in and week out and do this, that's really when I think you get a coach like Matt LaFleur that wants to run the ball. And make no mistake, that is his offense. He wants to run the football. To get him off of that hill, you need a quarterback that is playing at a dang near Aaron Rodgers level. And I know in Green Bay, people scoff at that because like, well, yeah, that's just what they do in Green Bay. It's not normal. It's not normal to have a quarterback playing like that. And it's not normal to have a third one in a row in Green Bay who is, in my opinion, ascending to those levels of a guy that you're going to go out there and you're going to win or die with him, with his arm. And I think we're at the point where you're going to win a lot more than you're going to die with Jordan Love as your quarterback if you just let him do his thing.
Jacob Morley, 24/7 Sports, Packer Report as well. Follow him on Twitter, X at Jacob Morley. Thank you so much for coming on, my friend. I appreciate you, and hopefully we'll run you down at some point later in the season here, but you coach 100 different things, right?
Absolutely. Thank you, Sparky.
You betcha. Take care. There he is. Jacob Morley. Love me some Jacob Morley. Joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. Coming up next, our poll question that we have up at WI Sports Radio. Where is your biggest concern right now as a Packers fan? We have listed as choices: offensive line, cornerback, or kicker. Those are your three choices right now at WI Sports Radio. If you have a different one, you can always comment under the poll question and put that in. We'll talk about that poll question and take your questions or comments on it. Nicolay Law Talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250 on the socials at WI Sports Radio. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
No, I think it was kind of how the game played out. And I've already kind of addressed it. He absolutely needs to play more than whatever snaps he played in the second half. So we'll make sure that happens. Yeah, I thought Luke, I know that we had the one drop in the flat, really the two drops or whatever. But I thought and those are going to get magnified. But I thought he did a pretty good job overall.
When you say you've already addressed it, does that mean you addressed it with Luke, or you addressed it with your guys, your staff?
Yeah, with our staff. I just think he's a guy that we have to get on the field.
That was from today, right? That's a little while ago, Matt LaFleur.
Yep.
And we'll play back some more of those clips at 420, talking about Luke Musgrave. The interesting thing about that, you're listening to Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy. Sparky here. Charlie over the other side of the glass. We're going to get to our poll question. The fun thing about this is that we had Ryan Wood on for the Green Bay Press Gazette. Our Packers beat writer joins us on Fridays on this show. And he and I got in the conversation about Luke Musgrave last night. And he simply said, they're playing him like he's Tucker Kraft. And he's not Tucker Kraft. Like, they essentially said, okay, you go do what Tucker does. But he can't do what Tucker does. That's not his deal. His deal is stretching the field, downfield, running decent routes, getting open and throwing the ball. Expect him to go down on initial contact, right? That's who he is. But he's not dropping off in the flat and have him break 5 tackles and get 15 yards. That's Tucker Kraft. That's not Luke Musgrave. And Ryan Wood was spot on with that thing, right? I believe what I said to him was, what does Luke Musgrave do well? I believe it was my question. And then he defended Musgrave quickly and said, dude, they're not being fair to him as far as what they're asking him to do with inside of this offense. And we're going to get to your biggest concern for the Packers, but if they're going to have an element of that tight end, you need it to be Luke Musgrave at this point, unless Josh Wiley's going to be an all-pro and we don't know about it.
But also, I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of the tight ends that are the top in the league right now weren't guys that were supposed to be as good as they are. Travis Kelce wasn't supposed to be as good as he was. Yep. George Kittle wasn't supposed to be as good as he was. I think Sam Laporte is kind of the top guy, and now he's out for the season. Anybody can step up at this point, especially in the way that NFL teams use their tight ends nowadays, where it's just get them open and see what they can do. If Josh Wiley can go out there and just make something happen when he gets the ball in his hands every single time, that's better than Luke Musgrave. And part of that is Luke Musgrave just doesn't get open enough to get the ball in his hands. All you have to do is get open, and that's what he should be doing well, and he's just not doing that right now.
You know, this is the other part of I think, the conversation of, are the guys that are open getting the ball? Or is Love looking for guys that he wants to throw the ball to? Because if we're being honest, I think a majority of quarterbacks in the National Football League might have guys open, but are trying to get it to their dudes to make plays in certain situations and look off of other guys, Charlie.
Maybe, but the Packers also had 3 more guys get targets than the Giants did in this game. Now, the Giants were missing a few players in their receiving core as well, but I mean, the Packers were just as much, the same number of guys, essentially. And Jordan Love is out there trying to get the ball to people. Malik Willis, when he was on the field, was trying to get the ball to people. I think it's more so that this wide receiver room just may not have as high of a ceiling as I think a lot of us thought. And some of these guys aren't getting open at points, that there's sometimes where it's hard to trust these guys to get open when 3 out of 4 of those plays of that drive, they're not getting open. And the 4th one, yeah, they get open, but Christian Watson is too. Let's just throw it to Christian Watson.
The poll question we have up right now is this. Where is your biggest concern right now? Where's your biggest concern right now as a Packers fan? Is it the offensive line? Is it the cornerback position, Keyshawn next, or is it the kicker position? Pick which one you want to be mad at this week for that one. Is it offensive line, cornerback, or kicker? Or maybe it's something we don't even have listed on the poll question right now. Nicolay Law Talk, text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the socials, WI Sports Radio. You can vote on X, but you can also comment on this question on Facebook, Instagram, or on X as well, or leave a comment on X or on YouTube as we live stream from there. Mine's still offensive line, man. I'm just being honest. And I think that there are a lot of people that go, oh, run defense. They've shown that they can run against the Packers. Yeah, okay. I'm not there yet. I know some of you are. They haven't given up 100. They've given up 100-yard rusher this year, Rico Dowdell. That was it. The Giants ran a ton yesterday. A ton. But One guy averaged over 4 yards. The other guy didn't even average 3 yards, I don't think. So, yes, they were able to run from time to time. But again, explosive plays, big plays, that doesn't happen. It didn't happen with Saquon Barkley against them. It didn't happen in that game. We're able to get 5, 6 yard, 8 yard chunks from time to time. Sure. Enough to keep you honest, I guess would be the best way to put it. But I don't think it's a concern. My concern is this offensive line. Because if we're being honest, they didn't look all that much better to me. Aaron Banks looked like he played a little bit better. Sean Ryan had some questionable snaps throughout that game from the center position. Again, that's not his position, so that is to be expected to a certain degree.
He looked all right outside of those questionable snaps and a few misplays. He did his job better than Elgton Jenkins filling in last season when he moved into center.
Jordan Morgan stinks.
It's pretty bad. It's not fun to watch Jordan Morgan on that field. And I know the Giants defensive line is I kept saying this last week. I was saying it on Sunday to people too. That defensive line, that front seven is their strongest unit. That's what they rely on that defense. And if that group can get going, then the rest of the team can usually fall behind with the Giants because they're such a young team that just needs that motivation. And this was just one of those games where you saw the strength of the team look like the strength of a team. And on the other side, you saw a weakness that the Packers had on defense get exasperated. You saw other teams like the Giants be able to run the ball against them. And that's a little frustrating considering the Giants aren't that good of a football team. And you knew they were going to be running the ball with Jameis Winston in at quarterback.
Correct. And that to me is the biggest thing right now. I think when you start talking about where we are with this football team with the Green Bay Packers, if Josh Jacobs is going to be out for any extended time. Now, they're saying he may not play against the Vikings game, but they're thinking that maybe he'll be good at that point. Doesn't appear to be any ligament damage or anything like that. All the tests came back looking good for Josh Jacobs. Okay, fine. So that means you get Wilson and Brooks back there to run the football, pass block, and so forth. There's one pass block, Brooks at running back that was amazing on a blitzer coming up the middle. He was just a wall. It was amazingly done by Chris Brooks. But those two guys against the Vikings, if that's the case, fine. Then you get the Lions, then you get the Bears these next 3 weeks. You'd like to have Jacobs back, obviously, for the Lions game. So that means if he misses the Vikings game, so be it. But that also means that you need to figure out a way to open up some holes for these running backs to keep everybody from pinning their ears back and coming at Jordan Love. Prior to Josh Jacobs going down, he's averaging almost 6 yards a carry in that game yesterday. Josh Jacobs was doing what everybody thought Josh Jacobs could do in that game yesterday prior to the injury. And part of that was he was already hurt. He came back into the game after being in the medical tent. He carries the first ball. They show him coming back to the huddle, and he is wincing in pain as he comes back and continues on that drive before finally he says, that's it. I can't handle the pain anymore. I'm out, and leaves. Now, Wilson came in, didn't have a great yards per average or whatever, but Wilson has shown you enough, I think, in the last couple of years that I feel like, hey, man, if I give this dude 15 to 20 snaps against the Vikings, I think he'll be okay. And I think Chris Brooks will be okay, both of whom you could throw the ball to out of the backfield. I think you could survive and win. But again, the offensive line must play better in this next game.
Definitely. And I think with Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks, the first thought that came to my mind is if Josh Jacobs is hurt, who's coming in to replace? Because I don't think it's one of those two guys long term. And that was the only problem that I had is I think Emmanuel Wilson could come in and in short term be a good backup. But if this is long term, I don't know if I 100% trust him. I don't think that's his fault. Totally. I think it's the fact that the offensive line just is not there. And what we've seen from them this season has been so frustrating at points since a lot of these guys should be better or are just not healthy and staying on the field. At least for the first time this season, this is something that I found positive. This is the first game where there was only 3 plays where they didn't have that starting offensive line out there. The 3 plays that Zach Thomas and Darren Kennard came in. Outside of that, it was the same 5 guys that were out there on the offensive line. That's the consistency that you had last season. If you can keep that up moving forward here, keep guys healthy. Aaron Banks plays the whole game, which is nice. Zach Tom can hopefully stay on the field and not miss 3 plays next week. You can hopefully get something going with this offensive line. That's why I'm not as worried about them, I guess.
How far are we away from losing Zach Tom for an extended period of time?
Feels like every week we're gambling, man. Every week you're throwing your chips on the table with him.
He walked out. I'm like, oh boy, here we go again. Is he going to come back? That dude must have like the highest pain tolerance on the team. He has to.
You would think so. I mean, Joe Thomas, offensive lineman, they talk about all the time how they can play on torn ligaments in their knees and then talk about it after the season. Say, oh, yeah, it hurt like hell, but I was fine. It's crazy.
Just, man, that That's at a whole completely different level as far as I'm concerned. So mine is offensive line. Kicker, listen, if we go back to the first hour, we start talking about Malik Willis as a 2-point specialist, package guy, and so forth. I think you can get by there. Do you go the Dan Campbell route like last night where he went for it on damn near every fourth down in that game and didn't get it time after time? They literally put together a low light package in the fourth quarter of him going for it on fourth down and all the missed opportunities they had because Jared Goff was awful in that football game. I cannot imagine we would get to that point to where, to hell with it, we're just not kicking field goals. We're just going for it all the time once we cross the 50. Now, obviously, on the other side of the 50, when you have to punt, you punt. On the other side of the 50, once you get into that marginal field goal territory of do we or don't we, it may get to the point, if McManus can't figure it out and can't get healthy, where they're going to start going for it more than they have. I feel like LaFleur's already going for it at a high enough rate as is.
I just also feel like that can't be my biggest concern or even the Packers' biggest concern, considering they spent the last 2 seasons with it being their biggest concern, being that kicking game and whether or not they have the right kicker back there. And that's what they're worrying about. They're going through this process of cutting and trying out different kickers in the middle of the season. You can't afford that right now. You're a better team than that, than to be worrying that much about that. You just have to hope these guys get it figured out. Or like we were saying before, and like you're saying now, maybe you do take a lines approach and start going for it a little bit more often. Maybe you start having that 2-point package or having different packages that teams haven't seen before. You have to start figuring that out in different ways. I really do think it comes down to the cornerback room in my mind. Cornerback
room is where your biggest concern is. Valentine's legit, it appears.
Mm-hmm.
It appears he's legit. Now, Keyshawn Nixon, on the other hand, I questioned at the end of last year whether or not he could be CB1. And everybody telling me, oh, no, he can be. He can be. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not saying he can't play corner in the league. I think he can play corner. I just don't think he's cornerback 1 material necessarily.
I think the reason it is my biggest concern doesn't really have to do with the play of Carrington Valentine. He's been awesome this season. I'm happy with him. It doesn't really even have to do with the play of Keyshawn Nixon. It's the fact that the 2 backups behind them are Bo Melton and Kamal Haddon. I do not want to see either of those guys on an actual playing field at some point. And Keyshawn Nixon got shaken up in this game a little bit. He got taken out of the game a little bit. I don't want to be in a situation where you are completely screwed by one of your starting 2 cornerbacks, starting 3 cornerbacks, getting hurt, and then you have to be stuck with a former wide receiver and a guy who is basically an undrafted free agent.
And that's because Hobbs is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been the case throughout the
Even
year.
if he wasn't hurt, are you in a better situation at this point from what we've seen him
I
on
like
the
Hobbs
field?
better than Melton and Kamal Haddon at this point.
I don't even know if I like him that much better than them. Probably a little bit, but not that much.
Can't be this bad. He can't be this bad, man. He just can't be. You don't listen. If you're Brian Gutekunst, you watch all that game film and everything else. You decide to give him the offer you give him. One would think Jeff Hafley, who everybody loves, was in on this decision to go sign him and thought he could make him even better. And boy, he'd be dangerous. That's what I wonder. Was Hobbs healthy when he came back for those 2 weeks, when he came back to play, or did he get rushed back to play and then went out there and wasn't 100%?
Well, and if he got rushed back to play, it comes back to, I feel like, the same conversation we have every 3 weeks with somebody on this team. Is it his fault? Is it the coaching staff's fault? Is it the front office's fault? You can't keep having those questions.
Absolutely not. So vote on the poll question on X. Where's your biggest concern right now? Offensive line, cornerback, or kicker? Where would you put your vote at this point? Hey, Bucs fans, it's Sparky. That's me. Want to hit up Potawatomi Sportsbook before the Bucs home game tonight, but need a ride to the game? It's a slam dunk by hitching a ride on a Potawatomi game day shuttle. Just make a bet at Potawatomi Sportsbook and catch a shuttle to Fiserv Forum. After your purchase or bet, a wristband will be given to you at the bar or betting counter upon request. You'll need the wristband to board the Potawatomi shuttles. The shuttle begins departing 1 hour and 15 minutes before the game, with return shuttles starting at the beginning of the third quarter will run nonstop until an hour after the game. Now, why drive downtown and pay for parking if you don't need to, right? You can ride the shuttle from the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I think that is the best place to be. Bucs are in Cleveland tonight, so that is not literally tonight, but for a Bucs game night. For more, visit Potawatomi.com. And that Bucs Cleveland game tonight is not on NBC, but I believe it's on Peacock, I believe is where that Bucs Cavs game
Pembroke,
is.
actually.
Where is it?
Pembroke.
Oh, Pembroke. Funny, joking aside, our producer, Jack Pembroke, and promotions guy, Jack Pembroke, who I call Peacock. Yes, but it is on that tonight. So if you are looking to watch that Bucks Cavs game tonight, you will have to have the app in order to watch for it. One of these days, once we get to a slower time, maybe once we get through Packer season and things slow down a little bit, I really want to have a discussion of how many of you are actually paying money to have all of these apps so you can watch all of your favorite teams versus how many of you say, to hell with it, I guess I'm not going to see the Bucks tonight because they're on Peacock. Or to hell with it, I'm not going to watch this game because it's on Amazon Prime and I'm not paying for another damn app. I wonder how many people just be like, I'll sacrifice not watching a couple games this year, but I'm not paying for another app. When we get to a slower time, once the Packer season ends, maybe we can go a little bit more in depth on this one and have more of a conversation. CB, downtown Milwaukee, you're next in the Nicolay Law Talking text line. What's up, CB?
What's going on, man? Thanks for taking my call, Sparky.
Sure.
My biggest concern is the tight end spot. Luke Musgrave, he was a hot mess yesterday, and I don't think they keep going on with him.
You missed me playing Matt LaFleur at the beginning of the segment. LaFleur today said he's going to talk to his coaches to make sure he's on the field more than he was yesterday.
That ain't going to work out because that's just not going to pan out. But, he want to be the smartest guy in the room, so We'll see what happens, man. Thanks for taking my call.
You betcha, CB. Hey, man, I didn't mean to cut him off and end his call, but just telling you, the head coach is all about having Luke Musgrave work and be a part of this offense. I'm all about it too. I'm in. But to Ryan Wood's point yesterday, you can't ask him to do the same stuff you asked Tucker Kraft to do. It's totally unfair to him, Charlie.
I think so too. He just doesn't have the skill set to be what Tucker Kraft is. You have to, again, adjust your offense for the players that are on the field. And it didn't feel like we were doing that yesterday.
He dropped the ball, whatever. At least he ain't Kyle Pitts. He's got that going for you.
Right? He's supposed to be. They built the offense for him, and he's still not doing it.
Every week that dude drops the ball. I saw another one yesterday. When he came out of Florida, I was like, man, this dude's going to be a potential Hall of Famer. He's got everything. Physical, speed. Here we go. He still can't run a route right to save his life. He drops every other ball thrown to him. Quarterbacks lose confidence in throwing the ball.
Well, and what's worse is that his rookie season, he did that. He was good. He was phenomenal. And then he just fell off the face of the earth.
Completely. And now Michael Penix Jr. is gone for the year. So that's the end of that. So now he gets Cousins back in there. Sad time to be a Falcons fan. Coming up next, Charlie Sounds of the Day. Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's. Live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's. Sparky here, Charlie Usen, other side of the glass. We're going to get to Charlie's sounds of the day, but don't forget when the Bucks win, you win at Wendy's. After every Bucks win, stop by any participating Wisconsin Wendy's for a free small vanilla or chocolate Frosty Classic. No purchase necessary. This offer is only good for 24 hours after a win, so act fast and get that free small Frosty Classic at Wendy's. So those of you listening around this beautiful state of Wisconsin, whether you're at WNFL, in Green Bay in the Appleton area on 99.7 FM, or if you're listening to the game in Wausau, or the game in Duluth and Superior, or in Milwaukee on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan, wanted to give you guys all a heads up. It's something that we've been doing for, I think this is year 19, maybe coming up this year. We are doing our toy drive for Children's Wisconsin again, and Robin's Nest, which is like the foster care arm of Children's Wisconsin, coming up again this year from December 1st through December 5th at the Blaine's Farm and Fleet in Oak Creek. We will have our shows on site there. Pretty much most of the lineup will be on site Monday and that Friday. So 9 to noon, the Mason Crosby Show and Wisconsin Sports Daily will all be there Monday and Friday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Wisconsin Sports Daily will be there as well. But we'll have volunteers out there from Children's Wisconsin and other parts collecting toys from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day, Monday through Friday. Also, if you are listening around the state, we will have an online link to where you can donate money online if you're not able to make it down to Blaine's Farm and Fleet in Oak Creek. Obviously, if you're in Duluth Superior, you're probably not coming to Oak Creek. I totally understand that. But if you would like to help out and donate, it's a very cool deal. We have a semi that pulls up and is parked there for the entire week. We do our broadcast from the Bear Sunrooms as well. A lot of cool sponsors and stuff. A lot of people come and bring toys. Firefighters for years from all the different districts around the area will show up with their engines going and the whole deal and drop off toys and so forth. All the different teams, the Bucks, the Brewers, the Admirals will all show up from time to time throughout the toy drive and be guests on the shows. And we'll have some great stories from Children's Wisconsin on that Monday and Friday as well. So looking forward to that December 1st through the 5th, our toy drive at Blaine's Farm and Fleet in Oak Creek, where they have Toyland. So a lot of people just go to Farm and Fleet in Oak Creek, go inside, buy some toys, come back out and donate it. And another thing that we've done over the years and that I've seen done that I think is a very cool tradition, where people make a tradition out of it, right? You bring your little ones, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, and let them pick out a toy for somebody less fortunate as them, maybe in the hospital or whatever, and then drop it off. And then every year you come back and you make that part of your tradition going forward. And it's cool for me, the host, because we get to see your kids grow up and be a part of it. And very cool. So looking forward to seeing everybody out there December 1st through the 5th at Blaine's Farm and Fleet in Oak Creek.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, Charlie Usen, it's a Monday, so I'm ready to get mad. Let's roll. What do you got?
I don't know if you'll get too mad today, but we're going to start off heading on over to the Cincinnati Bengals and Pittsburgh Steelers from yesterday, where star wide receiver Jamar Chase and star cornerback Jalen Ramsey got into a few altercations in that game yesterday. This is Jamar Chase after the game explaining what happened between him and Ramsey.
Exchanging words.
He was saying that you spit on him. Did you spit on him?
I ain't never opened my mouth to that guy.
That's a lie.
What do you think prompted the reaction from him?
Well, he don't like some of the words I told him. We've been going back and forth the whole time, so I'm sure some got under his skin.
So it was built the whole game. It just wasn't on that drive.
Mm-hmm. The first time we had a altercation, and then it was the second time.
Is that the first time in your career anybody's ever punched you in a game?
You see me get punched?
It looked like he threw a punch.
So, just to be clear, you did not spit on him at all. That's what he's saying.
I ain't spit on nobody.
Lies.
Courtesy of Adam Schefter 10 minutes ago, Jamar Chase has been suspended 1 game for spitting at Steelers D-back Jalen Ramsey.
Video was all over social
5
media.
different angles.
You saw the spit coming out of the face mask. He didn't have a water bottle. I don't think he had one of those, like, you ever see those helmets or those hats you wear where you can have like beer coming out and there's like straws that come in your mouth?
I have one of those. Yeah, it's a
course.
Spartan helmet. Yeah.
Not surprised. One of those that come out, right? He not only had one of those on his helmet, so it had to be coming from his mouth. So, yeah, not surprised that he got suspended for a game. Just blatantly lie, like, there's not cameras. Right. Like, I don't understand why anybody in society today thinks they can get anything past anybody in a public place and think they're not going to get caught. Like these fools that shoplift. I don't understand. You think walking blatantly out of a store with stuff, you're not going to get caught. How stupid are you? Like, there's cameras everywhere. Just like if you do something stupid on a street or in somebody's neighborhood, everybody's got these what are they called? Ring doorbells or whatever with cameras on them. Man, there's cameras everywhere. You're going to get caught, man. There's cities have cameras on the streets as well. Like, I don't get it. And especially in this dude here, dude, there's a million camera angles on TV showing every which angle for instant replay. You don't think somebody's got you on camera?
Not only that, but earlier in the season, Jalen Carter for the Philadelphia Eagles went through this whole entire rigmarole with all of this same thing too. You don't think they're going to be watching for this now? Crazy. Now that they already suspended somebody once for it?
There's not much more derogatory than spitting on somebody. Go ahead.
Next up, we're going to head over to KFAN on in Minneapolis, where Adam Thielen, Minnesota Vikings wide receiver, was discussing referees being too much of fans during games.
I think we need to have full-time referees. I think it's ridiculous that we have, and no offense to these guys. I memean, they obviously love their job and they put a lot of time into it. I know they do, but it's like we have these guys that are kind of fanboys a little bit. Like they love the fact that they get to go out there and they get to shake hands with Patrick Mahomes. They get to hang out with these professional athletes. And then they go to their real job on Monday through Friday and tell everybody how cool their side job is. I think that there should be full-time referees. I mean, the NFL is billions and billions of dollars. There's so much money in the game. There's so much betting on the game that these games matter so much to not, obviously the people that are gambling, but what about the people that put so much time and effort to try to go and perform well and win games and all the time the coaches put in, that they deserve to have full-time referees. And, that's my take on it. And I think it's very easy to do. And I don't know why it hasn't been done.
It's a horrible take. It's an absolute horrible garbage take. First of all, if you think they're fanboys, maybe some are. I have no idea. A lot of these dudes are lawyers and have other professions where they're making as much, if not more, than what they make doing this job. The average NFL referee makes like $200,000. The higher end referee makes like $500,000 or $600,000 or somewhere in that area, whatever the case may be, right? So these guys are doing it on the side. When you've been in a league for 10, 12, 15 years, I promise you, they don't give a crap who you are. They don't give a crap who you are. They don't care. They're just going to do the job to the best of their abilities. If you would like to make a full-time thing of, okay, you're going to do work 5 days a week, Adam Thielen, by all means, write it out. Put it all out 365 days a year of what they're going to do every single day of how they're going to get better at their job. I promise you it will not make a bit of difference when you get into game action going at game speeds. You can have them watch all the film they want and everything else, but until you're in game speeds, no chance anything is changing. They do the best they can. Leave them alone. That'll do it for Charlie Sounds of the day. Unfortunately,
shout out my last one real quick.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett breaking the all-time completions record in one game. That was my last out.
I'm glad we didn't get to it. Wes Hodkiewicz, Packers senior writer from Packers.com, joins us next here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, part of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is time again. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you as we broadcast live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Charlie using over there. The Packers did win. Oh, yes, they did. You should be happy. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Remember that song, you old people like me? Don't worry, be happy.
I know that song too.
Oh, you do?
Don't worry, be happy. Yeah. See, I did it pretty good.
No, don't go watch Charlie do karaoke. Coming up now is our guy, Wes Hodkiewicz from Packers.com.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, he is Wes Hodkiewicz, representing all of us short people together, doing what he does for a living, and I appreciate it. Wes Hodkiewicz, we have been broadcasting live. How long have we been broadcasting live? On Twitter and or YouTube? So since July on YouTube.
Yeah, and Twitter for about a month now.
For about a month now. You are the very first guest that's come on this show that was fixing their hair before they came on. You're the very first one. I look up. Hodkiewicz is like, has his phone up, like fixing his hair and all that. Man, something else, man. Something else. Put you on Packers.com and look at you go. Look at you go, Wes Hodkiewicz.
I'm very self-conscious, Sparky. You used to do radio with me a long, long time ago.
Yes.
I didn't know that by now, but I didn't have to do this stuff on camera. But what's great about you calling me out for that, on that side of the screen over there, my boss was giving me crap about it as well at the same exact time. So, I'm just going to come on and we'll just see how it all looks. And not that it's doing me any favors, but
it'll be fine. It'll all work out. Speaking of it being fine, I had Jacob Morley on earlier from Packer Report, and we dove into the wide receivers and Jordan Love and all of that stuff. I want to dive into the offensive line, if you don't mind, with you, because the one thing that I saw on social media last night from people that are caring and worrying about the offensive line are paying more attention to it than I am while watching the game. One of the things pointed out was Aaron Banks looked better than maybe he had the previous couple of weeks. What did you take away from the game for Aaron Banks?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have been talking about this, but the Packers switched up their plan with Banks last week. He actually was a DMP on Friday. They used a veteran rest day on him, which they've been trying to figure out this right pattern to keep him fresh and to keep him going for game days. Obviously, he's played a lot of football at this point. So there is a part of me that kind of wonders in the back of my head if that potentially helped him out a little bit, just being as fresh as possible going into this thing. But my conversation this entire season as it relates to the offensive line is the Packers have a lot of talent there. It's, can you get all five of those guys, or at least most of those five, together out there at the same time? And I felt like this game, absent a couple snaps there with Zach Tom, they were able to do that. And seeing the chemistry that Banks has been able to develop now with Rasheed Walker at the left side, and then also now with Sean Ryan taking over the center position, I see that as something that definitely has a chance to work its way up here in the second half. And don't forget, I mean, the Packers paid this guy for a reason. I mean, he's played a lot of football, a lot of good football for the San Francisco 49ers, and was slated to be that left guard. And now with an opportunity to hopefully be a little healthier, maybe that'll allow him to kind of fulfill his potential there.
We'll slide over one position to Sean Ryan, who gets forced into action at center. A position that, probably he has played from time to time, but definitely not getting regular snaps at center. I think there were a couple of snaps that were off base a little bit for him. What did you make from Sean Ryan's performance?
I thought it was really encouraging, Sparky. I did. Now, certainly, as we just got done talking with Matt LaFleur, there was a couple snaps that they got to work on, a couple things they got to clean up. But, Sean is a guy that until he got to basically the Senior Bowl, or it was the Combine, I'm trying to remember that, he hadn't really snapped at all. He was a 3-year starting left tackle at UCLA. And he comes to the pros and he's kind of projected as an interior guy. But because they had Elton Jenkins, because they had Zach Tom, and they had all this depth there, Lucas Patrick for a time, they didn't need a quote-unquote backup de facto number 2 center. Well, certainly this year he was thrust into that role. And I'll be honest with you, I felt like long-term that may end up being his best spot. I mean, this is a brick house of a human being. When you look at him and the way he's built.
He's got some nasty too.
He does. He has an attitude to playing the position. And as Josh Jacobs was talking with us last week, I mean, he's a diligent note taker. He's a guy that immediately raises his hands in the meetings, usually has the right answer. And now he's in that communication role. So the Packers know Elton Jenkins is not coming back anytime soon. He's not going to be there to save him. So for Sean Ryan to pick up this position and to build some momentum, I thought it was an encouraging first step. And
if we're being honest, that really didn't go as well as expected with Elton Jenkins this year.
Well, and me personally, Sparky, I've been saying for years, I've always felt like Elton's best spot was left guard, and that's when he was playing right tackle. That's when he was playing left tackle. Obviously, he did it at a high level in college at Mississippi State when he was playing center. And by and large, I think he was improving at that spot up until the time of his injury. The challenge for him was the first, 6 years, it was just spot duty. It was filling in for Corey Linsley when he had a knee injury for 3 games. It was backing up Josh Myers there. It wasn't something he'd done down in, down out, practice after practice. I felt like he was making progress there, but certainly that was a huge adjustment for him. And now obviously, and to some extent, Sean Ryan.
So with Wes Hodkiewicz, senior writer at Packers.com here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. All right, let's continue moving on over. I'm going to skip the problem area. We're going to go to right tackle. Is our guy Zach Tom the toughest human being on this football team? Because I swear to God, I feel like he's been playing hurt for weeks. The one game he said, I don't even remember the second half. I'm in so much pain. And I lost my mind on the radio. I was like, why the hell is he out there? Like, if you're in that much pain, you should not be out there. You should be watching at this point. And here again, he goes out, he misses a few plays, and back in comes Zach Tom again. His pain threshold has got to be through the roof. Because most people, I don't feel like, are playing with what he's playing with.
No, I mean, look at Lane Johnson. No disrespect to Lane Johnson, but now he goes down with the Lisfranc in Philadelphia. It's a difficult position to play on the tackle side. And for Sean, or say with Zach Tom, what I love about him is he's such a business-oriented guy. He's not a guy that overly, seeks out the media opportunities in the locker room. He has to do them. He understands that's a part of the gig, but he's a dude that would be just completely content with just doing his job, no notoriety whatsoever, and just perform to the best of his ability in support of his teammates. The Packers paid him this offseason. I feel like with him and his mentality, he's almost kind of gutting this out a little bit to an extent. I mean, even last week, he was questionable going into that game with the back, but he keeps on toughing it out. And you talked to a lot of these guys over the years. When you think of the Josh Sittons, the TJ Langs, and even David Bakhtiari before that knee injury that kind of sidetracked his career, all those guys had those nicks, bruises, those bumps that they just kind of kept fighting through. Josh had an entire season where he dealt with a back injury, didn't practice a whole lot, but was there on Sundays. Zach has those type of principles, and despite the fact he's been banged up, has still been their most consistent offensive lineman this season. I think you got to tip your hat to him and hope in the second half here that he can get some type of reprieve there to kind of aid him through this, because certainly the Packers need him.
Now, I realize you work for Packers.com, but I must ask about Jordan Morgan, because if we're just being completely forthright and honest, and anybody that has listened to me since that draft pick knows I was against the draft pick when they made it. I wanted a corner. I wanted them to move up for a corner. They didn't do that. I thought there were still corners there they could have taken. They didn't. And at that point, I said, look, if he ends up becoming a Pro Bowl left tackle, they made the right choice. No question. But if it's any other position, I don't care if he's a Pro Bowl guard or center, whatever, it's just not the same thing as potentially having a lockdown quarterback. I mean, look at Mitchell for the Eagles. I mean, that's a prime candidate, right? So now you're forcing him into this guard spot, which clearly he is not a guard. I think we've all learned this. How much longer are they gonna allow this to go on before maybe you give an Anthony Belton a chance at this thing?
It's a great question. I don't think I'm as down on you per se with Jordan at that spot. I feel like with him having an opportunity to actually play one's position, I think long-term that's going to benefit him. But I understand what you're saying. We are talking about
just a West Hod. If we don't know how this is going to play, but if Rasheed Walker walks as a free agent, isn't he the left tackle then? So this really isn't even long-term.
Yeah, and then that's the guy that obviously came in with Arizona and saying that, this is the position I'm most comfortable with. But at the same time, there is that spirit of, hey, trying to get your best 5 out there. And even though I'm with you on Anthony Belton, I think Belton has a real future with this team. I've been impressed with him on the small sample size we've seen. That's also a guy that was a tackle that then is going to be converting now to an interior offensive lineman. So it's a challenge. But all that being said, I mean, this is a progression, and the Packers are trying to build this thing and have a 5 that they can lean on. What will Jordan Morgan's future be? What will it look like in 2026? Your guess is as good as mine, and maybe it is the left tackle spot or competing for it. But in the here and now, the Packers need him at that spot, because if you look at the way they're built now, especially after this Elton Jenkins injury, the depth takes a hit there. You have Darian Kinnard that came in. Obviously, he's still kind of picking things up a little bit, trying to find his spot. You have Belton. Jacob Monk came back, but he still hasn't played a lot. They need Morgan at that right guard spot right now, and really never more than now than, with Sean Ryan being at the center position.
I just cannot.
You also said you were going to skip over the right guard spot, and then you backtracked.
No, I came back for it. I was trying to keep it positive, knowing I had to get to it at some point. Wes Hodkiewicz joins us, senior writer over there at Packers.com. Follow him on X at Wes Hod. I'll go to the defensive side of the ball. We did the post-game show last night, myself and Tommy Wirtz on the network here. And there was a lot of, now everybody knows how to beat the Packers. All you have to do is run the ball at this Packers defense, and you can beat them. I went back. I looked. There's been one guy that's run for over 100 yards against them. Last night, you had multiple guys in the teens running the football. One was under 3 yards a carry. The other was just over 4.5 to 5, 4.7, something like that. 5 yards a carry. Is it that simple? Is this Packers run defense the hole in this defense to how this is how people are going to attack this defense now?
Oh, goodness, no. I would disagree with that wholeheartedly. I mean,
thank you.
We were talking with Micah Parsons after the game. Micah was pretty critical of it. He said they could have did a better job against the run, but he also acknowledged they ran the ball 38 times. And that's something that the Giants had really not even done all season, even when Cam Scatterbo was actually healthy. So that was a little bit of a curveball. And I felt like outside of that 117-yard gain that, you looked at how that play kind of went with Tracy. He sort of pushed his way through it. They weren't able to get him to the ground, but it's not like they're opening up a lot of holes there that the Packers are having these big gash plays. Before I stepped in here, actually earlier today, I was looking through the Packers yards per carry allowed. Last year, they were third. This year, they were third. Previously, the best that they'd been is 2009. They were second, but other than that, I think it was like 14th. There was a lot of years where in the 20s, some of the Dom Capers years at the end. As much as we talk about rushing defense, and I'm guilty of this too, being a ranking based on the amount of yards you allow, it really does come down to how many yards you allow per carry. And the Giants threw a healthy dose at Green Bay. They stood up to it. I thought Micah Parsons played the run phenomenally well in this game. The Packers have built up a tolerance, I think, to explosive plays. And that's what Jeff Hafley is kind of building this defense around. Is there going to be times if it's not going to show up as well? Sure. Over the course of a long season, it's going to be that. But the Packers have their identity defensively, and it's making teams earn it. And that's not just a nice boilerplate name response. I mean, defenses, or I should say opposing offenses, are struggling to create explosive plays and get points off of it. I think that's something the Packers have been able to hang their hat on because of the run defense.
We have a poll question up on X right now, WI Sports Radio. Where's your biggest concern right now? Offensive line, cornerback, or kicker? As we sit here today, offensive line, corner, or kicker. We dove into the Keyshawn Nixon thing of last year. I'm CB1. I don't want to return kicks, yada, 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 at the end of last season on the way out for Keyshawn Nixon. I questioned it then. I still question it now. It looks like Carrington Valentine is the number one cornerback as we sit here today, especially versus how they're graded out. He definitely is. Is this a problem? Because Charlie brought it up earlier too, which is they have no depth right now as we sit past these first two guys.
Yeah, that's the challenge. They got to get Nate Hobbs back in this thing. And Hobbs was in a tough spot too, right? Because this is a guy that played mostly in the slot, that nickel star position. That was really where he was his home base in Vegas, and he was kind of projecting outside a little bit more in Green Bay. They have a lot of versatility amongst those top 6 defensive backs, if you count, Javon Bullard and Evan Williams into that equation. Right. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you're looking at a lot of unproven depth behind them. And that was one of the sort of the areas that I think a lot of people looked at going into the season. That being said, maybe I'm in the minority here, but I think Keyshawn Nixon has played exceptionally well this year, and he fits exactly the way that Jeff Hafley wants to play defense. He is a sure, willing, and physical tackler. That's something that for many years the Packers didn't have on the perimeter. This guy packs a punch, in addition to the fact that he's competing out there. I mean, he's tied for the most with passes defensed in the league this year with 14. he's still looking for that interception. I think that's probably the one area everyone's looking for him to pull one of those down. But I've really been high on Keyshawn since he got here. I think this guy, at every challenge he's been given from the very beginning, even with the kickoff returns, he's met that challenge and he's excelled at it. So for the Packers, with all these injuries they've dealt with the last few years, whether it was Eric Stokes or Jair Alexander, Keyshawn was always the guy that they turned back to. And having a guy that you can count on for 800 snaps a year at that position, you really can't oversell that. So certainly there's question marks. Certainly there's going to be things in the second half that Green Bay is going to have to do better in the secondary. But having Nixon there amidst all these injuries, amidst all these different things, I think has been actually a cornerstone and really a strength for what Packers have done with their pass defense.
He is Wes Hodkiewicz, Packers senior writer, Packers.com, on X at Wes Hod, where you watched us live stream this bad boy, and on YouTube. His hair never moved. It stayed in place. Nicely done, Wes Hod. I appreciate you, my friend, and we'll talk down the line, buddy. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Thanks, man.
Take care. There he is, Wes Hodkiewicz, joining us on the Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That is all. I'm not even lying. He was the first dude was fixing his hair with his phone before he came on.
In his defense, half our guests are bald. They usually show up on there, it feels like. So I think a lot of those guys can't really fix their hair.
Shot fired at Ryan Wood. Okay, then. Hey, if you love
Mike Wall too.
No, okay. I'm not messing with either one of them. Both of them are like 3 times my size. If you love Wendy's classic chocolate and vanilla frosty flavors, there's some big news. They're all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. Same creamy treat that you've always loved, now with a flavor refresh. So what are these new flavors? Okay, well, we got the Frosty Swirl, strawberry, brownie, batter, and caramel. Always ask for the extra swirl. It's a pro tip. I'm telling you, they're not going to charge you extra, and they'll do it for you, and you'll be happy. And they got the Frosty Fusions, right? So Oreo brownie, caramel crunch, Pop-Tart strawberry, and right now, Snickerdoodle cookie Frosty Fusion. That's right. Made with swirls of sweet, gooey Snickerdoodle sauce and chunks of cinnamony Snickerdoodle cookies. Full-on cookie nostalgia, so preheat those mouth ovens because the Snickerdoodle Cookie Frosty Fusion is here. Seriously delicious. An iconic Frosty mixed with sweet Snickerdoodle cookies. It's got to be Wendy's. Coming up next, we'll hear from some of what Matt LaFleur had to say earlier today. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. See Sparky Fiver, Charlie Usen, other side of the glass. He played some Matt LaFleur for you before we get to things that we missed on today's show. And I will tell you, the things Sparky missed today are going to revolve around the NFC North. We are going to stay on the NFL and on the Green Bay Packers coming up here in the last segment of the show. So Matt LaFleur talked earlier this afternoon. What time was it? Like 3 o'clock or so?
3 o'clock.
Right, something like that. Earlier
He was
today.
on time today, too.
He was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right away, 3 o'clock.
Amazing. You win, and all of a sudden you're on time. Matt LaFleur talks about the Packers running back situation as news came out earlier today. Bill Huber broke that news first and foremost from SI, so nicely done to Bill Huber. Then the national media eventually caught up. But here is Matt LaFleur talking about the Packers running back situation. Now, with the Josh Jacobs injury known to be that he may miss the Vikings game, but he should be good after that.
Is IR a consideration for Josh at all?
No.
Is this week a possibility?
Potentially, we'll see where he's at. It's a contusion, so it's just more or less trying to get the swelling down, and unfortunately, that's a pretty hard surface over there, and sometimes the byproduct of that.
So you know what Emmanuel Wilson can do. He's played for you quite a bit. So what does a backfield of Wilson and Brooks look like to you?
Yeah, I thought both those guys came in and did a nice job and just owning their roles. And I mean, shoot, I don't know if you guys saw the pass protection Brooks provided on that last play or that big play to Savion Williams. That's one thing you can always count on Chris Brooks, man. That guy he's gonna do his job, and he is gonna strain while doing it. And so I got a lot of confidence in him. I know he only had the one carry, but I thought he did a nice job on that carry as well, just hitting the hole with some authority. And then Emmanuel, he did what he needed to do as well. And so both those guys, if called upon, I have confidence that they're going to get the job done.
Matt, what makes Brooks so good in pass protection? Like, how's he gotten so good at that skill?
I think it always starts with a desire first and foremost, but I think, he uses good technique, good fundamentals. He strains, he has good pad level. He can use his hands well. I think he's a heck of a special teams player as well. So I think there is a little bit of carryover to that.
Last night on the Green Bay football postgame show, powered by Lakeland University, Tommy Wirtz and myself, we're talking about the Jacobs injury. And if they were going to miss Jacobs for a couple of weeks or whatever, how big of a blow really is that? And Tommy Wirtz is the president of the Wilson fan club. Let's start there. So he and I both agreed, though, I don't think it's end of the world stuff. I think you can beat the Vikings without Josh Jacobs. I think both those running backs are good enough to get the job done. I think offensively, maybe you ask Jordan Love to throw the ball a little bit more, but I feel like Emmanuel Wilson gives you a better chance at a pop play than maybe Josh Jacobs does at this point, Charlie.
I think so. I think what we've seen from him so far this season is he has that type of burst that we haven't seen from Josh Jacobs so far. And I think that's more because Josh Jacobs has not played a single healthy game so far this season. It feels like every week he's got something going on with him that he's playing through. We talk about Zach Tom being the toughest guy on the team. Josh Jacobs is right behind him. He's doing it, everything he can. Manuel Wilson just goes out there and makes the most with every opportunity that he gets. And then you look at Brooks, and he's going out there doing the same thing, just without the ball in his hands. These guys love to play football, and that's something I think I see across the board with the Packers rosters. These guys want to go out there and just play for this team, play for the guys around them, and it doesn't matter if you're the fourth or fifth guy on the chart. You're going to go out there and play hard.
And that's the thing that you want to continue to see, regardless of where you are. When it's your time to go out there and play, give it everything you got, man. Do your thing. Now, again, we go back to Malik Heath not making this trip with this team as far as where his head was at. But we've seen this before with Romeo Doubs. Same type of deal before. Another thing that we played earlier in the show that you may have missed was Matt LaFleur talking about Luke Musgrave essentially getting benched partway through this game.
No, I think it was kind of how the game played out. And I've already kind of addressed it. He absolutely needs to play more than whatever snaps he played in the second half. So we'll make sure that happens. Yeah, I thought Luke, I know that we had the one drop in the flat, really the two drops or whatever. But I thought and those are going to get magnified. But I thought he did a pretty good job overall.
When you
say you've already addressed it. Does that mean you addressed it with Luke, or you addressed it with your guys, your staff?
Yeah, with our staff. I just think he's a guy that we have to get on the field.
I want somebody to ask him what Ryan Wood brought up yesterday, which is, hey, man, are you going to try and play him in the Tucker Kraft role, or are you going to shift this a little bit to play maybe more to his strength than what you asked Tucker Kraft to do? I think that is a fair question to ask that Packers head coach, Matt LaFleur, at this point, Charlie.
I think so. I think at this point in the season, with how you watched this team succeed so well earlier in the year, again, with putting just guys in the right positions at the right time with the play calling that you had. And then again, these past 3 weeks where it just feels like guys are not playing in the right spots. They look like they're uncomfortable in these spots. You have to do better. And it's the job of the media to put that out into Matt LaFleur's mind.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. 100%. The other thing that's on people's minds, I know for sure, is this kicking situation between Haversack and McManus, having a who can miss more competition right now at the field goal position. Now, the kicker position. McManus being listed as doubtful on Saturday was very interesting. I will just say that, about how all of a sudden he tells the TV crew the previous week, healthy as he's been, he's kicking great in practice, LaFleur says, all week, and now all of a sudden he's doubtful and not playing against the Giants, and here comes Haversack out of nowhere. Found that very interesting. Then Haversack gets into the game and was awful. Now, how much of that had to do with the win, if you ask me, before we play LaFleur? I think some of it. I mean, the second one that he missed, the ball was going straight, and all of a sudden it just went to the left, right? So I think it all depends. Koo, with the Giants, he had one so far left, but he pulled it like everything. He just yanked it. That had nothing to do with the win. That was just a horrible kick. And that was a 48-yard extra point that he yanked. So that was, you just screwed that up. I don't know how much of that had to do with Haversack's inability to put something through the goalpost, but here is LaFleur on it.
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether you got to find a way to get it through the uprights. And it was a challenge. There's no question about it. I think the second one was the whole operation wasn't great in terms of the snap.
The laces.
He kicked the laces, which I don't know if anybody's seen Ace Ventura, but as far as I know, it's not a good thing. But yeah, we got to be better all around him as well.
What do you think is it going to look like for Brandon moving forward? It just feels like this has been quite a roller coaster going all the way back to major concern.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that you just got to, take in stride and handle it on a day-to-day basis. But I know it's not for a lack of want to or effort. We've got a lot of people trying, and he's trying, and hopefully we can continue to work through this thing.
That's not an IR situation.
No, not at all.
No, he'll kick against the Vikings. We gave Haversack a shot, shut everybody up. He missed. We're done with this. Now we're going to go back to Brandon McManus. Now, this is the thing. That's fine if that's what this was all about. I don't know if it was or not. But if that's what this was all about, then cut Haversack, make McManus the kicker, and let's go. And if McManus is truly that hurt where he couldn't have kicked after kicking for the last several weeks, and according to McManus on the TV crew, he was worse than he was going into this last game. If he truly is that hurt, then to hell with it. Put him on the IR for 4 weeks, and let's call it a day and make sure he's 100% for the playoffs. I don't want this to be a thing in week 17, week 18, and we don't know who the kicker is going to be in the playoffs because you won't give this dude full rest.
This really feels like something that should be cleaned up by now.
Stupid.
That you should have figured out, that you should know what the situation is. And it's just constantly every week, Matt LaFleur is coming up here and saying, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Are you not the head coach of this football team? Are you not getting paid all this money to manage all of these guys on the field and know how each one of them is doing at any given moment? Be a head coach. Go out there and act like it. You are not an offensive coordinator. As much as people want to talk about that and say that's all you focus on, you are a head coach. This involves you, and you need to be there making that decision.
I don't think he cares, or
that's what it seems like.
Into it enough. I think that maybe some of this is just what McManus wants to do or what Bisaccia wants to do. And he just like, whatever, it's special teams, to hell with it. I don't care. Halfley, you do defense. Bisaccia, you do special teams. I'm going to care about the quarterback in this offense. You all tell me what you want to do in your units, and we'll just roll because I don't have time to be screwing around with all this. And very well could be what's happening.
Each week that the offense looks like what we've seen the past 3 weeks, his seat gets a little bit hotter. And he can't,
27 points, no seat is hot. He's fine.
They're playing the Giants without a majority of their best players on the field. And
on offense, yes.
They struggled as a unit. It's not just Jordan Love. Jordan Love played well, but as a unit, there was issues on that offense in this game that need to be addressed, even if they did put up 27 points.
LaFleur can't catch the ball. Like I don't care if a damn who the head coach was. That could be Andy Reid out there. You have 7 drops from your receivers. That's not Andy Reid's fault. That's your receiver's fault. And if you want to get real specific about it, that's your general manager's fault for putting those dudes out there now for the 3rd straight year, having all these drops in a game. Now, I said last night on the Green Bay football postgame show, powered by Lakeland University, that I don't believe we're going to see anything like this again the rest of the year. I think it was a fluke deal. Whether you want to blame the wind or whatever, I think the ball hits in your hands, catch the damn ball. By that time, it's already through the wind. It just hits you in your hands. Just catch the ball. Again, never played wide receiver in an NFL game. I have no idea what they go through. All I'm saying is, outside looking in, that was pretty atrocious. And I cannot imagine we go through another game like that going forward. It better not happen in the playoffs. Tell you that much. The one guy that can catch the football, seemingly, has been Matthew Golden. And yet again, here we sit. Matt LaFleur talking about Jordan Love's injury.
He's doing good. Obviously, he's definitely sore. I mean, that was a pretty big hit. One of those that you just come on, man, can't put yourself in those situations. But I thought he played his ass off yesterday. I really did. I thought he was throwing accurately. He showed a ton of toughness in the pocket. I mean, there were multiple times where he's getting hit pretty good from within the pocket and making throws. So I was really proud of his ability to come back into the game and just show that not only physical toughness, but the mental toughness to hang in there and, continue to keep fighting.
I'm interested in seeing how this Jordan Love injury plays. I give him credit for obviously coming back. He wasn't wearing a brace or nothing like that. He had some of that tape on the shoulder. Again, not knowing the severity of it, he said he could play with it, which is fine. So now the issue now becomes, Charlie, how is this going to affect Jordan Love as far as running around when there's that opportunity? Because he took that not on a slide. He took that on a football play. When he did slide, he almost got his head taken off and they didn't call a flag. But that's something else where going forward, it's not going to affect him throwing the football, I don't think. The bigger issue is just going to be, do I run or don't I run? And if I do run, I better get the hell out of the way now.
I mean, this isn't the first time this season that he's been hit like that.
Correct.
Where he's run out of the box and decided that he wants to lower his shoulder for some reason.
Try and take somebody out like Josh Allen.
That's just his mentality. That man likes taking risks.
And I like that mentality, but you're the quarterback.
You're not getting rid of it is my thing. I think that he goes out of this injury and says, you know what? Yeah, maybe I need to be a little bit more cautious, but man, if there's a guy smaller than me and right in front of me, I'm not just sliding down to him. I'm not going to let him be the bigger man at the end of the day. That's how he competes. That's who Jordan Love is. I like it. Yeah, it results maybe in more injuries, but I mean, Cam Newton won an MVP off that mentality. Yes, Cam Newton's career ended off that mentality too, though, so you got to be careful.
That's correct. Matt LaFleur talking about Jordan Love taking less hits.
It's one of those deals where, I mean, things happen pretty quickly out there. I think he as he was scrambling, he did a little pump fake and actually got the guy to kind of leave his feet a little bit. And so I don't know if he thought he was, a little bit more elusive than what he really is and thought he could get around him or not, but obviously didn't work out. I do think that's a fine line in regards to how you coach a guy in those situations. There's a lot more feel to it than, because things happen so quickly.
Things happen so quickly. I don't care how much you coach him. Mike Holmgren is going to say something to Brett Favre 5 million times, and Brett's still going to do what the hell Brett wanted to do once he's in that moment. Mike ain't out there running around. It's Brett fighting for his life, trying to figure out how to score a touchdown or score points. And you can tell Jordan Love 5 million times, or Josh Allen 5 million times, or Patrick Mahomes 5 million times, or Lamar Jackson, pick. But once they're out there, their natural instinct takes over. And then they're going to do what they want to do. For better or worse, they're going to be who they are, regardless of how much you try to coach them up one way or the other. And I agree with Charlie. This is who this dude is at this moment in time in Jordan Love. And, you just hope he can survive. Because the one thing at the beginning of the year that I said was, hey, man, can this dude get through an entire year without missing games? Because that really is what you're looking for, right? Get through the year. Don't miss any games like last year. Be healthy, and then let's see what these numbers look like at the end of the year. Let's see what this offense looks like at the end of the year with Love playing with them all year long and being on the same page. Now, it's unfortunate you lost Jaden Reed for a good part of this, and now you lost Tucker Kraft for the second part of it. But at least now you'll see how he adjusts, how he gets into rhythm between the beginning of the year, the second half of the year, and then into the postseason. We never really got to see that last year.
No, we didn't. And this is one of those moments where you get a little worried because the offensive line hasn't been playing as well as they are, because the wide receivers are dropping balls, that you feel like this is a situation where Jordan Love will try to do too much maybe and potentially take the game into his own hands at the detriment of his own health. And that's something that I think the Packers need to be worried about, need to be proactive about, is that when you see games like this, when you see the past couple of games where the offense struggled a little bit, and as a coaching staff, as a front office, you have to say, let's mitigate that as fast as possible and make sure that Jordan Love knows that we are supporting him just like his team is and that he doesn't have to do everything on his own.
Absolutely right. Hey, Bucks in Cleveland tonight against the Cavaliers, but next time they're at home, man, want to hit up the Potawatomi Sportsbook before the Bucks home game? Absolutely. Need a ride to the game? Sure. Slam dunk by hitching a ride on the Potawatomi Game Day Shuttle. Just make a bet at the Potawatomi Sportsbook and catch the shuttle to Fiserv Forum. After your purchase at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, their kitchen is amazing, or your bet, a wristband will be given to you at the bar or betting counter upon request. You will need the wristband to board the Potawatomi shuttles. The shuttles then begin departing 1 hour and 15 minutes before the game, with the return shuttle starting at the beginning of the third quarter. And I better not find out anybody is on a shuttle at the beginning of the third quarter. And we'll run nonstop until an hour after the game. Why drive downtown and pay for parking when you can ride the shuttle, baby? For more, visit Potawatomi.com. Coming up, things that Sparky missed, and we're going to talk about the NFC North and two other games that happened yesterday. Straight ahead on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, streaming live on X and YouTube. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, summed up by Wendy Sparky here. Charlie Hughes on the other side of the glass. Our thanks to Jacob Morley from the Packer Report and 24/7 Sports joining us at 3 o'clock. Wes Hodkiewicz, Packer senior writer, joining us at 4 o'clock. Coming up tomorrow on Wisconsin Sports Daily will be Dave Wannstedt, former Bears head coach and Big Ten Network analyst. He'll join us coming up at 3:20 tomorrow during the broadcast. I guess I never put 2 and 2 together, so I'm slow. I apologize. I did not realize that Jeff Hafley was on Wattstad's staff at Pittsburgh. So once I heard him say that, I was like, oh, we should get Wannstedt on. So we're going to have Dave Wannstedt on tomorrow. Plus, they did an interview last week with Luke Fickell, did the Big Ten Network. So we'll talk some Badger football with him. We'll talk some Packer football with him, pick his brain about Jeff Hafley, as a coach, as a coordinator, maybe as an NFL head coach down the line at some point, and see what Dave Wannstedt thinks about that. So we'll talk with Wannstedt tomorrow at 3:20. You've heard Wannstedt before, right?
I have indeed.
He's so good. He is so good. Like, he is must listen to radio anytime you have an opportunity. Unfortunately, he coached that other team.
It's as exciting as it comes. Here's Devin Duvernay. Looks for a block. Oh, big room! Duvernay, look at this! Across the 50, and a huge return for Devin Duvernay.
The all-pro returner delivers in the clutch moment. 57-yard return.
Boo!
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky?
Oh, man, that's not the right one. That's the right one. I don't want to hear that again. We already did that segment.
What story did Sparky miss talking about today on Wisconsin Sports Daily? Don't you worry. Sparky's got you covered now. Don't miss Milwaukee Admirals hockey this season. Don't just buy tickets. Invest in memories at MilwaukeeAdmirals.com.
I got to tell you, that Bears game yesterday, I was that highlight you heard there from Duvernay. I get upset when I see good special teams play. I got to be honest. I get upset. Like, McCole Hardman had a big return for the Bills. That sucked. This dude, Duvernay, has a big return for the Bears and sets this up.
Santos puts it up, and it is good!
The comeback kid, Chicago Bears, do it again.
Unbelievable. Like, I honestly, highlight courtesy of Fox, I honestly thought they would smash the Vikings, especially considering how bad J.J. McCarthy looked. Yeah. And that did not happen. They had a fight to the dear end in order to win that game, the Bears.
The Vikings still have a solid defense, which I think helps them out a little bit and keeps them closer in games than they probably actually are a lot of the times. And the Bears just have this amazing ability to want to blow games and then just win the game anyways because they think it's so much fun to give every Bears fan a heart attack. I don't think my face has ever gone from complete sadness to when the Vikings scored that last touchdown to utter jubilation when they get the return and put it into field goal range. It's just crazy to be a Bears fan right now.
It is, and they're in first place. Packers are in second. Lions, they don't even make the playoffs if they were to start today, but they don't. But this happened last night.
And Hurts throwing right side, incomplete, and a flag. Flag for the contact with Hodkiewicz. And pass interference has been called.
Interference, defense number 23. Ball places, final foul, first down.
And that should just about do it. Let's watch it here on AJ.
Oh, come on. Come on. That is terrible. That is an absolutely terrible call that it's going to decide this football game.
Yeah, it was a terrible call, Chris Collinsworth. Tarico Collinsworth, NBC last night, Sunday Night Football, 1,000% a horrible call on Rocky Sin. And then you have the camera on his helmet. His eyes popped out of his head like a cartoon character when they threw that flag. You could not have defended it any better than Rocky Sin did in that point.
Well, and then as he's walking back to the defensive huddle, he's just pointing at the ref that called the penalty on him through the flag. He's just pointing at him, saying something to the ref like, it's you, I know it's you. Like, that's awful. It was just really...
But that wasn't the only one. There were numerous blown pass interference calls around the league yesterday.
It feels like this happens almost every year where just halfway through the season, the rules change. I feel like this happens in the NBA too, where they just all of a sudden decide that they've seen enough of a sample size to decide how they want to call games and then just start calling games differently through the playoffs. Then all of a sudden you can't do that. You have to call the games the same no matter when and where they are.
NBA is no different.
That's what I'm saying. Halfway through the year, they change the rules. It's crazy.
NBA is no different. The way they reffed games last year in the NBA to end the season is not how the reffing games to begin this season. And they told nobody that they were going to make the change. And now 1 million free throws are happening per game on a night in, night out basis. Well, that happened to the Lions. They got screwed there. But before that,
eligible skipper. Quick count. They go for it. Gibbs gets stopped at Jomo. Got him by the legs.
And Jared Goff anticipated he was going to stop fake.
Fake up the middle of the Eagles, ready for it. They stop Grant Stewart. Goff throws in the middle, incomplete. It's 4th and goal. Goff looking, throwing, back of the end zone. Yes.
Not even close. Five 4th downs they went for. They failed on all 5 4th downs. Highlights courtesy of NBC. Remember last week? Was it last week, 2 weeks ago? When Dan Campbell, it was last week, Dan Campbell pulls a play calling from John Morton. And I said, from a Packer fan standpoint or anybody playing them, it was the best news you possibly could have heard because this dude, Dan Campbell, is not a great play caller. We've seen it with the Dolphins. I've seen it in New Orleans. He's not a great play caller. Let's see how this all plays out. And guess what? He's not a great play caller. He's just not. He has less... You might have more creativity in your pinky than that man has in his brain. So from that perspective, as a Packer fan, I'm excited. By all means, that was the worst Jared Goff I've seen since he's been a member of the Detroit Lions. That was awful. And I get the Philly defense is tough. Packers just played him, but that was horrible.
It's kind of crazy to see the way Dan Campbell coaches because it's almost like exactly the opposite of a Matt LaFleur, where Matt LaFleur, things go wrong and he gets super conservative. He pulls everything back and decides to just run the base game plan. Dan Campbell says, nope, I'm doubling down. I don't care if it went wrong. I'm even more angry that it went wrong. I'm doing everything again, twice as hard. It's crazy.
All ego-driven.
Right.
All ego-driven instead of team-driven. So if I was Dan Campbell, just give it back to John Morton. Get out of the way. Let him call plays. Just say, hey, I screwed up. I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
I'm out. He's going to do it. Just let him do it. All right, that'll do it for Things Sparky Missed, brought to you by the Milwaukee Admirals. It's been Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here, Charlie Usen over there, other side of the glass. Dave Wannstedt, former Bears head coach, and now with the Big Ten Network analyst in the studio. He'll join us coming up tomorrow at 3:20. Straight ahead, Wisconsin Sports wrap-up. Don't go anywhere. You'll hear the best of what you missed earlier today on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Have a good night, Wisconsin. Toodles!